back together again to go ahead and play Dungeons & Dragons 5e campaign of The Coming Storm. And this week, I guess we are known as Beatles Buggy Buddies. Yay, democracy. Today, we won't be having the fortune of having Cody hanging out with us to play this very nerdy game. So, well on us. So, Beetle, it's all going to be on you today.
I got this!
Anyone want to take his place in role-playing him? Volunteers. You volunteer.
I'm not volunteering to play Richard. I don't think that I could portray his grandioseness.
That is fair.
I could probably portray Richard with his memory, not without a memory though. I don't think I could play that properly.
No one could portray Richard without his memory.
So, with that, Cody will be joining us in another week. So, a small recap. Last week, there was some adventure as people started to enter the maw of Yeren, where there was a mysterious village that appeared out of nowhere, according to Ein's memory. And Ein, with Laura, came to a shared understanding that they cannot go into the valley, or the maw, to see what's going on. But they didn't understand one of their newest companions, Beetle, who, with great enthusiasm, seeing the greenery and clean dirt, fresh air, couldn't help himself but rush in with her best friend, Richard. So, that is where we pick up today. Beetle. You see that Richard is going with Ashara, rushing forward ahead of everyone. Ahead of you, ahead of the old man.
I'm gonna let that happen, and I'm going to approach the old man. The old tiefling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna approach the old tiefling.
Alright, as you approach him, he's still just going pretty quickly, considering that Ein cast magic in this forbidden area.
Yup.
So, what exactly is this place?
What do you mean, what exactly is it?
I mean, it's very clear that there's lovely greenery in the middle of it. Dead lands, and I have never heard of anything about it. I'm from Jewel.
Jewel, it's not too far away. Pretty much the capital of Nikoi, if I'm not mistaken.
I suppose you could call it that, yes. But I do have one more question. How exactly is it that you speak Imperial so well, and yet you're still alive?
Well, Empyrean, as you know it, is really just a dialect. It shares a lot of important roots between Celestian and Empyrean, modern. If you know the oldest parts of a language, you can extrapolate the rest.
Insight.
Go for it.
12. Easy nothing for me.
Alrighty, you get a feeling that there is naturally more to the story going on, but it doesn't look like he's going to give it up so easy.
Okay. So is there a name for this strange gaping maw?
Well, you people in Yarn, in Jewel call it just Yarn, but we call it the Gorn.
And why is it exactly that the undead haven't attacked this place?
There are many towns and villages and outposts that The undead have neglected to pillage for whatever reason or another, though others are under perpetual siege. Places like Lowland. You wanted to talk to someone from Lowland, yeah?
Is it just me or is the stream frozen? Is that my side? Josh?
I can't hear anything. Are they speaking right now?
I don't know.
I haven't said
They
anything.
Okay.
it like
Found out the
froze.
music died and then came back.
No? Max is thinking.
No, I was just thinking. I don't remember
Well, like
saying that I
it also visibly froze. Like I saw both of you completely stop moving and such. So like
Oh, no.
everything went silent.
Mhm.
Waiting.
I don't have any particular interest, but I suppose it couldn't hurt.
So what's with your friends?
Beats the hell out of me. I know they're going back to Celestia for some damn reason. None of them's given me a straight answer.
Maybe I can help you out. Live as long as I have. You tend to notice things.
That's quite fair. Above anything else, I require something to clean my clothing. My
Yeah.
clothing, which he takes out of the drum.
He just looks you up and down as you're walking. I think something like that can be arranged. We don't have a lot of clean water, but we might have enough to spare.
It doesn't have to be clean water, it just has to be some water to get this blood off of us. I'm sure you're aware of the beaconing properties.
I'm perfectly aware. I would prefer not to invite the stalkers into our homes.
Exactly. My friend there, I'm gonna point to Richard with his green man thong, has the same issue as well.
You see a couple of people have come out to greet Shara and Richard, and they seem to be leading him into the village. They seem to be very well dressed and actually well nourished, instead of the normal lanky, frail frames that comes from a strictly vegan diet for the whole society of Jewel. These people, they actually look a little beefy. Some actually a little rounded as well.
That's strange.
What, you see something weird?
Oh, nothing.
If you say so. So, he goes ahead, leading you deeper and closer into the maw, where Ein and Laura, you are on the outskirts of the maw. You see that the two tieflings, they're being friendly enough together, where Richard and Ashar are rushing to the village, where they seem to be greeted with open arms.
I'm keeping my eyes between Richard and Beetle. I want to make sure that nothing crazy is going on down there, but I'm still kind of thinking that Beetle might be plotting something with that other tiefling now.
I'm keeping my eyes the exact opposite direction, making sure nothing's coming for us after he cast the spell.
Probably wise.
Alrighty. A quick insight check for Ein. 8+.
My insight is 3.
Alright. The fact that nothing has even fallen out of the sky trying to circle and find you is weird enough.
Alright.
But you still have the aura of just calmness coming over you.
I'm gonna do an Arcana check to see if this is sanctified land. Or would that be a religion check?
Arcana.
So Arcana's +3.
You get a weird sense of void and almost a feeling of rushing rivers, just trying to fill that void, but it's always trying to fill a new void after another.
That sounds planeswalkery to me, just using those words. That sounds like this place is from another dimension. Just saying, or something like that. I just kind of look over at Laura. I have this strange feeling that maybe this is real, but also it doesn't belong here. Remember the talk of planeswalkers and all that? I feel like this isn't supposed to exist on our world.
I could very easily see that, especially when he said that it arrived about 7 months ago and took 200 workers to build up the place.
Yeah, if this place arrived 7 months ago, that would have only given it 1 month to be built like this, and this is more than even a 7-month project.
For
It takes,
200 people.
yeah, for 200 people. And especially with the land around here, like the land around here is not prepared for growing things, and there's very, very healthy plants here.
It could be that it did take only 200 people and it was a cult who summoned this in.
That's also possible. There might be a group that, instead of summoning a planeswalker, they summoned a plane.
Quite possibly. Do you see only tieflings in there?
What all do we see in there?
You see about half the population, from what you can ascertain, are tieflings. A good mixture of men and women, young and old, what you would expect in any healthy village, to say the least. And another population where it seems to be consistent of humans and elves.
That in itself is kind of unusual considering the demographic of our planet right now.
Though the tieflings, they seem to have adopted a lot of aspects of the human culture in their style of dress.
How are they dressed? Is it similar to Imperial or Celestia?
It looks more like a weird combination where it seems Celestian in origin, but with Empyrean influences.
Do we see
Considering
any
where you
uniforms?
come from, you would be able to note those cultural differences.
Do we see any, drop my pencil, do we see any marks on any of the people, the humans or elves, such as ranks or uniforms or anything like that?
No one is uniformed. It looks like they don't even have a security force or even a guard outpost. Completely peaceful in nature of a village. It's like they don't know what a war is. Or they never expect a war.
You see, that alone is extraordinarily suspicious, considering they're on the other side of a demon army, and on the other side of them is a city that was just destroyed by a demon army. And yet, they don't expect to ever have to fight.
Perhaps they're in some way with the demon army that we don't know of.
Possibly.
There's a lot of questions about this place, and I have bad feelings coming from it.
Same. But like this is I don't really want to enter there, but I'm going to continue watching. This is very, if I see anything that looks too suspicious, maybe we should go down and help them. I mean, really only one of you needs to live. My job wasn't to get all of you there alive. My job was just to get your group there alive, you know. But rather, you know, rather the hero. I mean, that guy took out a Kraken on his own. I mean, I'd rather him not die at least. That's unusual. That's really strong.
You can actually see inside the village that some people actually started bringing out different clothes and they're trying to dress him to mild manners of success.
It's kind of like watching. See, look at that hero's welcome. They're just bringing him stuff and like throwing clothing and stuff at him. Like normal. That doesn't normally happen.
It's
I
more
believe
that
that.
no one has explained what they're trying to do. They just see someone who's half naked and they're just trying to put clothes on him where it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What was this about? I did not ask for this.
I didn't ask for pants.
But as you are inside the village now, you hear a multitude and wealth of languages that are even far more diverse than in Jewel.
Strange.
Old man is still leading you into the village. What do you find strange, sir?
All of these dialects are much different from each other.
Yeah, it's a matter of perspective.
I don't know if a matter of perspective has anything to do with truth, sir.
You calling me a liar?
Inside check. 20.
Not?
Nat.
Alright, and that 20, there is definitely a sense of, as he's looking at you just incredulously at your accusations, get a sense of there is a strong line of sincerity in everything he says and does and shows you. It just simply is.
Okay. Absolutely not, sir. Thank you for your kind help.
Food. You probably need food.
Yes, I'm starving. I haven't had a rest in ages.
So, the people of Sky City, you are vegetarians?
Most of us are vegans. I'm a vegetarian.
Alright. We'll hook you up with a little bit of food. Eggs. You like eggs?
I do.
How about cheese?
Yes, absolutely cheese. Can we put cheese on the eggs?
How about this? I'll just go and bring you a wheel of cheese and we'll see what happens.
That sounds like a great idea, sir.
Alright, let me introduce you to some of the village elders. Despite the fact that I might be elderly, doesn't change the fact that we have other elderly elders.
Yes, I'm sure people get old all of the time.
Not in this land.
Julie doesn't know this.
Yeah, everyone gets old.
Everybody gets old.
So, you see that as Richard is fighting the good fight, Ashara is being led away into one hut, and it seems like that they're just offering her some tea and have some questions about her particular faith. They seem to be picked up something up about what she believed very quickly, and that caught her all of her attention. So Shar is just led off because of that. And you're led into what looks like to be a longhouse. And looking at the construction, you're used to seeing dirt just heated up to extraordinary degrees in order to create bricks of some kind, in order to build the entire infrastructure of Jewel. But what's interesting about this is that all of these buildings, they're made of thatch roofs, massive logs for houses, and they don't seem to have a shortage of lumber in the slightest. They actually do have, as you're being led inside, an actual lumber yard.
Say, where'd you get all this wood?
We harvested it.
From where?
From forest? Where do you get lumber?
To be fair, I've never seen a forest, sir. Fake news. And you would have had to carry this lumber quite a ways away, considering everything is dead, and every time you try to cut down a tree here, it attacks you.
Oh, please, it's virtually next door. Leads you indoors to where you see a couple of elders. They seem to be drinking large bottles of whiskey, ale, wines, beers. All the cases are actually 100% clear, so you can see straight through them. None of them are labeled, but just by the color and the consistency, you can kind of guess what it is.
I can see the consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To which, Laura, you see the only person that's actually in view at this point would be Richard, and he seems to be running.
He's running? I kind of like park up and I'm just looking down and watching, seeing what's up.
Apparently, he jumps behind a lumberyard.
Just kind of trying to look. How do you jump How do you jump behind a lumberyard?
It's Richard.
It's a very small lumberyard.
True.
It's like a little model.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lumberyard.
It's a yard
it's
filled with
like-
young lumber.
It's like, you know, the table from Beetlejuice that had like the train track and stuff on it.
Mhm.
That's the lumberyard. He just like jumped over it and now he's hiding on the other side.
Pretty much.
Would I know what a lumberyard is specifically?
That is a good question. Okay.
Probably.
You do have a relatively decent enough education.
Makes sense. And I did live like surrounded by forests and an orchard. So I probably at least know what lumber is.
Yep.
And I see a bunch of lumber lined up, so.
So,
And there's no trees here, which is weird. Well, the trees try to kill you.
How do they have so much lumber? This is really, really suspicious. Why can't anyone just listen? This is really bad. This is bad. This is really bad. Like looking down at the lumberyard.
I'm going to take a look at the actual place, and can I tell anything about the architecture of it?
the architecture seems to definitely have strong Celestian rural influences, but seems to borrow some elements from Orcish construction from the unincorporated territories in the north of Celestia.
I'm going to enter Ein and say, pardon me, Ein,
Yeah?
does this area get much rain or snow or anything of the like?
If there was rain, everything wouldn't be dead.
Hmm. Then my next question is, what do the roofs look like?
The roofs are just made of just thatch leaves. Definitely leaves that, as far as you can tell, Ein, are definitely 100% not native.
Also, the roofs are made of non-native leaves. Like those roofs are made out of material that doesn't grow around here.
I mean, what shape are the roofs?
It generally has a bit of a cone over it with it being tied. It kind of has a nice little bun at the top. It's tied together by what looks like to be almost a metallic cord.
Mm-hmm. So it's set up for a more tropical climate. This place is very strange, however I have a bad feeling that we most certainly do not wish to get too involved with them here.
Well, I mean, as you say, and as I think, like this, I feel like this is a different plane. Somehow this is a boundary between dimensions, or something like that. Actually, seeing as my actual technical class, wouldn't I have at least some insight to actual dimensional boundaries to a point?
You would understand the theory behind it.
So would I be getting, from the way you described it, would I be getting a vibe that yes, this is from another dimension or another plane?
What's going on right now is that it is in the material plane and they're acting in completely material ways. So they're either colonizers or from another plane, so whichever seems more likely.
Well, technically if they were, well, I mean, even being colonizers, how would they get here and make all this stuff grow in land that can't grow stuff? Everything's green. You don't grow green stuff when the land is dead.
This is true.
How long have we been skirting the outskirts of the city of the village?
It's been about an hour.
And we still haven't been attacked.
Yeah, how far away, like around, like if we're skirting the outskirts, have we done a full circle around it in an hour, or how much of the perimeter have we skirted in 1 hour?
You got on about 75% of the way around the entire maw.
Okay. Okay.
So you're still able to see it. It's still a little bit distance away. Just, it seems like to be an oasis that just wasn't there the last time you came through here.
I look at Laura. Oh, we should. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go down there. We should go down and tell them that this is a different plane. Something's wrong here. If they haven't figured it out already, there's definitely something wrong. And if this is a piece of another plane, if this disappears randomly with us in it, bad things might happen.
There's still something I have to check. Jacob, can I go ahead and see the direction we came from?
Yes.
Okay.
You came directly from the southeast.
Okay. Do I see any of the demon army there? Or anything?
You see that they're all looking in your direction, but you would understand that they're supposed to be pursuing you. They're not. They're just watching.
That's why I'm worried.
I actually walk to the edge of the greenery, and I want to do an Arcana check on the line between the greenery and the desolation. And how rapid is it? Is it like we've got a verdant front lawn and then sidewalk level rapid? Or like, is it gradually getting more and more dead?
Oh, it's not gradual in the slightest. It seems to be like thick, beautiful grass that seems to be growing wild, even with a few weeds here and there. I mean, it seems to be wild in nature in how it grows beyond the path that leads to the village. The path seems to be only created just courtesy of people walking over it, not over a period of months, but years. So that's the kind of path that it has, where the dirt just kind of swallows any of the actual material.
Oh, it's a
that grows.
desire path.
And on top of that, to where it stops, what you notice what's really weird about the grass is that it seems to have stopped and it's kind of like a blade cut straight through it.
Yeah, I just, Laura, were you following me as I walked this?
I'm next to you the entire time.
I go ahead and just point. I'm like, we're on another plane right now. This is not our dimension. We are currently planeswalking.
I'm going to lean down right at the edge of the grass, and I'm going to put my hand in the soil next to it, directly next to it, and I'm going to pull out a handful of dirt.
The dirt on the inside or the outside?
The outside of the grass.
On the outside, you can barely even scratch the top of the soil. You feel the dirt immediately just get into your nails.
And then if I go ahead and I put my hand on the grass and push my fingers into it.
It feels rich, it feels wet, and your hands just dig straight into it. And it doesn't feel bad in the slightest in its wetness. It feels like very healthy dirt that even nobles in Celestia would buy from the healthier lands that have yet to be touched in Celestia. It's
I'm then going to,
quality dirt, real high quality.
With my finger, I'm going to hook it and move it from inside of the dirt on the grass into the other dirt.
Alright, as you
the outside.
drop it into the other soil, you just see that it just hangs out there, and after a number of seconds, nothing really seems to be changing.
No, I'm not dropping it in. I'm hooking my finger under the dirt, and I'm moving my finger underneath the little bit of the grass
You hit what
to the
feels
other
like a
side.
brick wall.
Okay. I will go down and say, Ein, this is very damp and wet, or this here is dead. I think you're more than correct in that assumption. This is another plane, which could explain why they're not chasing us, as this belongs to a planeswalker.
I nod. Do you think that we should go and tell them? Because all knowledge that I don't know how much I've really dealt with planeswalkers, but I've been told a lot to avoid them. They're bad, and they don't like us, especially the people of Jewel. Planeswalkers are a big issue here, and we need to leave. Now?
Would be
Probably.
talking about planeswalkers?
Oh yeah, plenty. The entire problem is courtesy of a planewalker invasion. It's just one plane, though, that invaded.
Okay.
And
Would
that
I
plane
know
just so
this?
happens to bring death with it.
Would I know this information?
Oh yeah, it's pretty common. It's ubiquitous.
Okay.
Mhm.
It might be why Beetle did not feel threatened or worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well-
still suspicious, and we're on another plane right now.
Ein, do you have any idea how long it would take before this plane were to go back to its original place, or...
It might never go back. It might go back in 10 seconds.
I'm going to step over the grass, onto the grass,
As you
and look
step
back.
over, you immediately just feel your nostrils flooded with the smells of thousands of different flowers and scents that are nothing short of gorgeous to your nose.
And I couldn't smell them while I was outside of this, correct? Before I stepped in. I'm going to turn around. Does everything look the exact same? Can I see Ein and the entire area behind me looking the exact same?
As you turn around, looking behind you, you see a forest behind Ein.
Oh shit. Ein, don't come in here. Reach your arm through and nothing else.
I kind of reached my arm just through.
Can I see his arm?
Can I see my arm?
Yeah,
I'm going
the thing
to
is,
walk-
Ein, you're just seeing the dirt before you and the beautiful fauna in front of you.
I'm going to grab his arm and I'm going to step out of the grassy area.
Alright. Are you still just looking forward?
Yes, I'm still looking at Ein and the forest behind him.
Alright. As you're stepping outside of the line, you see almost the entire skyline of the forest just slowly dissipating and just in a black dust parting away, as if it was a speck of dust in the eye that you just can't focus on.
But everything looks like it was before I stepped through, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Ein, I'm going to need you to stay here and not move for a moment. I need to test something real fast.
Okay.
I'm gonna step through again
Okay.
not
While
gonna-
watching or not watching?
while watching. I'm stepping
You
backwards onto the
see
grass.
the dust that escaped your vision slowly come into focus, and the entire forest reconstructs itself, but this time with a little bit of a gentle gusting wind.
I'm not going to touch Ein, and I'm going to step next to where Ein would be.
And what has happened before happens again.
Okay, so
So what are you testing?
Ein,
Mhm.
go ahead and take one step onto the grass right there. I'm outside the grass now, so I'm fine. Take one step onto the grass right here.
I just put one foot on the grass.
You don't know what the hoopla is about.
It's
Now
grass.
take one more step and look at me.
I step inside, turn around.
As you go ahead, step inside, turning around, you are reminded of the beauties of the north of Imperia. As you actually met Amaterasu, you see that the trees almost are identical. And you can almost hear a whisper in the distance. Almost an eerily familiar whisper.
I kind of like just start looking around, wide-eyed, trying to pinpoint where that voice is coming from, where the whisper is.
Ein, do you see a bunch of
Everywhere and
trees?
nowhere.
It's in your head.
There's a bunch of trees, but I hear whispering. Just like looking around.
Ein, come towards me again and step out of the grass.
I look back and just kind of pinpoint it again real quick, and then step back towards Laura.
Alright. So as you step towards Laura, outside of that dirt line, you see the forest fading away again in a black dust, and it just slipping out of your eyes' vision. It was as if it was never there.
Do you think it's an illusion of
And
some
the
kind?
whispers stop.
I don't think that's I think that when we step in there, we actually enter that plane. I'm gonna try something here. Hopefully this doesn't become a problem. I go ahead and step onto the new plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that, and turn around to see the forest is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take a couple more steps onto the grass, turn around so I can't see Josh, so I can't see Laura, and start walking backwards.
So you just walk in deep enough until you can't see Laura?
No, I mean like, if I'm turned around, right, facing Laura, and so I take several steps back, like say 5-10 steps back, then I turn around so that I'm facing the village and Laura is to my back, and then I just start walking backwards, and I'm going to see if I enter the desert area or if I enter the forest, if I'm not actually looking at it.
As you are walking backwards, feeling the grass giving way to each step, you feel the touch of soil under your boot. And the second step, and another, only to see the forest's greenery fading away.
Okay. So, it's like, well, it looks like we only have access to this portion, but this is definitely a dimensional boundary. There's another plane leaking onto here. This is just the only area we can access. But,
And how are they able to make everything out of wood? If they've been here 7 months, there's a lot of wood, and they have additional wood at the lumber mill.
they're probably from that plane. They might not even be able to enter this portion.
Did we meet the tiefling who came and visited us the first time outside of the greenery? Or was he inside?
Oh, he came outside.
Okay, so then they can't interact.
They can interact.
Then if they can't interact, then maybe they've got a way to stay on their plane. I mean, they are planeswalkers, right?
Well, we're assuming they're planeswalkers. They might just have one planeswalker who's affecting all of this.
If there is one planeswalker, it would have to be the person who greeted us.
Which then begs another question: how can they speak Imperial and Celestia, and so many different languages?
If it's a similar plane to ours, then it's possible that Imperia, and Celestia still both exist there.
I'm going to take a step into the area with the grass again, and I'm going to look around. Do I see any rivers or anything like that there?
You can't see any rivers, but you do hear one. And it sounds like a rushing, powerful river. And you can almost swear that you actually hear the sound of fish jumping out of the river and splashing inside their own river.
I should ask a better question. When we were going around the outside of the mall, did we see any river or water source inside of there?
Oh, no.
No. Okay. Well, we didn't see any river or water source when we went around here, so that means that they must be able to interact with their native land to have all of this crops and food and everything. I got a bad feeling about this.
I do too, but I also kind of want to go back there. There's a weird voice in there.
Well, it's my job to make sure you're safe.
And my job to hopefully bring your group back alive, as many as possible. So let's go and discuss this with them.
Oh, God help us all.
I start walking in.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna be next to him. Shit.
You guys start walking in with this new realization of what you are getting into. But as you are doing that, you are asked to sit by one of the elderly men. Sit, my kind sir. Sit. Please.
Wait, who? Us or
No, or Max.
them?
No, Beetle.
Okay.
Beetle.
I see no reason why not to. I'm gonna take a seat.
And you just see that they just keep talking despite the fact that they told you to sit. They seem to be ignoring you. They're just talking to each other back and forth.
Excuse me, why is it exactly that I am brought here?
They both look at you.
I'm not exactly the most important person that the elders could be speaking to at the moment.
Perception check.
19.
You kind of notice a bit of a jarring sight where, with the two men looking at you, their facial structures are the same, their expressions are the same, but almost everything seems to be completely flipped. As one is turning to the left to look at you, the other one looking to the right, looking at you. You didn't really notice it before, courtesy of their style of dress hiding half of their face.
So they look the exact same.
They look the exact same, and they have the exact... They're virtually a mirror. And they were having a conversation with each other.
Beetle's like bristling, like
Oh, shit.
spooked.
That was very rude. That was rude indeed. You need to wait your turn, boy. We could entertain you for a little bit if it means you can sit down like a small child and listen to the tales of old men.
I am no child. But I will always sit for a tale.
A tale with an ale. So you go ahead and you see them starting to pour like a large cup of
Like
ale.
a cup? Or
Mhm.
like
It's a
a jug.
like take this and then double the size.
So okay, so like a stein.
It's like a stein.
Okay.
They fill it up all the way to the top. The glass is clear, so you see it just bubbling. And they go ahead, put it on the floor, and they just... And despite their frail look, it just seems to slide just beautifully all the way to you. And as it reaches your hand, you hear the sound of metal meeting wood as a plate is put down next to you. You turn to see a large wheel of cheese, but it's actually cut out on one section and actually put on top, and you see bread and a couple of sauces put out.
I'm gonna take my knife out and slice up some cheese and eat it.
Alrighty. So, as you listen to their tales, you hear that their tales seem very similar to the kind of tales you've heard back home. Though it'd be like an odd wrong fact here or there. Like the fact that it's not Jewel, it's Sky City. They insist it's Sky City every single step of the way. Sometimes they would say Jewel, they would often say, no, here it's Jewel. It's Sky City, that's the story.
Why do you keep calling Jewel two different things?
Don't you?
Should I?
They both look at each other at the same time. Look at you at the same time. We don't know.
I've always preferred the name Jewel myself. It has a quite ring to it, don't you think?
Okay, while we're here, we'll call it Jewel, but when we're talking about home, we'll call it Sky City.
Home?
Yeah. Right now, we're home.
Do you know where you are, good sir?
Yes.
What do you see when you see outside of this place?
Well, how do you define outside? Because outside of this gorgeous longhouse, there's a bunch of other longhouses. Very fine lasses. Though I'm probably related to half of them, so that's a non-starter.
It is a gorgeous longhouse. I will give you that. You have some wonderful craftsmen in this village.
The best, really.
It's quite amazing. Forest next door. What would you call it?
Forest next door?
The name of the forest.
Yeah, we go ahead and call it up. Wow. That was awesome. Call it this Forests of Wolford. You see, we're actually built on some ruins. And we honor our ancestors here. Well, I wouldn't say ancestors, they aren't our ancestors. They're someone's ancestors. But it was Wolford. I believe it was an old Celestian settlement.
Celestia's quite a few miles away from here.
Well, one could say that.
One could say that. Could one also say that it wasn't?
Well, I guess. I mean, you have magic, right?
Of course I do.
Then it's a matter of a hippity-hoppity, teleporty, anywhere elsey.
I can't teleport.
They don't have teleportation? I don't know.
I mean, I personally don't know the magics to be able to do that. I have not, finished my schooling.
You're rather old to not finish school.
I was, very rudely kicked out of the family home.
You hear some crashing outside, and some chicken squawking.
Damn it, Richard.
Check on that.
Don't worry about it.
My buddy's a bit delusional. You know, sailors.
Yeah, we have sailors.
Yeah, so you know how it is. The pillaging.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about pirates.
Yes.
Oh, we thought you were talking about the men that would be falling out of the sky to go ahead and raid your homes.
Out of the, I mean the sea.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you were
Sure,
talking
to
about
see.
Santa Claus.
From the sea.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check on him. I'm gonna go outside.
You see that they give each
With my
other
cheese.
questionable looks. And as you walk outside, you see that Richard has a chicken.
Richard.
And he has a chicken. And he is demanding answers.
Demanding it. Richard, put that thing down.
No. No. And you see him just running. And as he's running, you see Ein and Laura walking up.
Taser, taser, taser! Oh, wait, no.
Oh my god. Laura, hush. We have to grab Richard. He's chasing chickens and scaring children. I'm gonna point to just any random family that's in there.
You see one of the families, one of the children, they have a stein larger than even yours, and you see him just,
Just chugging.
yep.
How much health does Richard have again? I remember he was quite beat up but didn't rest.
Well, people attempting to molest him apparently is worth running away for.
They've been trying to
Oh,
get
dear
him
Lord.
close and he just won't accept any of them. He's a lost cause. I'm afraid he's really gone bonkers. Oh my goodness, how long has it been since I given him any alcohol? That's probably the issue.
Are you saying that he might... Are you saying he might not have his memory, and yet at the same time he still needs to be drunk to function? Oh dear lord. Richard, if you'd be a dear and stop running, that would be lovely.
Oh, Jacob, am I still hearing the whispers?
Oh yeah, you're hearing the whispers, but it's no louder.
I just keep looking around, like trying to see if I can pinpoint where those whispers are coming from.
Oh, you have no idea where it's coming from. It's everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Which is why I keep looking around trying to pinpoint it. Kind of like if you hear like a ringing or something, you're still driven to figure out what the heck the source is, even if it's an extraordinarily ambiguous source. You know what I mean?
The old man comes up to the three of you after you reunite. He just takes a look at Richard as he's trying to get away from one of the other villagers still. Okay then.
I apologize for my friend's so behavior.
Nah. We're free people here.
That's good to know. I'd like to introduce you to my companions. This is Ein and Laura.
Yeah, the idiot and the pretty one.
Tell me, sir, how is it exactly that you can go between this plane and another one?
He
That is a
blinks
good
couple times
question.
at you.
This is a different dimension than ours.
That's a rather personal question. Should at least buy a man a drink before asking him where he goes.
It's a rather important question, I feel, considering the fact that...
That's a little much to ask on a first meeting.
Should we bring her inside?
How about? Can you tell me why I keep hearing whispers? There's something. There's a lot. It's everywhere.
Oh, I know what that is. That's called schizophrenia.
I'm lucky I can't
You see him take
understand
out a
you.
notebook, write it down. That is one possibility. The second, maybe you don't have any friends. Or you had a friend and you don't have any friends now.
Perhaps it's imaginary.
This area feels familiar. This feels like the north of the north of Imperia. Almost like I've been here before, but I know this isn't. This is a different plane.
Well, it's an inspiration of.
An inspiration of? What do you mean?
I mean what I say.
So
I mean,
this
you
was.
borrow ideas, and if you happen to like an idea, and you try to copy it.
So this plane was created to copy Northern
Wow, you guys are
Imperia?
obsessed with planes.
Why is it that the demons haven't approached this area yet, even though magic was cast?
Well, your guess is as good as mine, I guess.
I mean, my only guess is that because this is a different plane, they might not be able to walk across it like we can. Maybe there's some weird law that demons follow.
Well, how many planes can one walk before one can stop asking questions about my home?
I'm sorry, I'm sure they don't need to be rude, they're just nosy.
I've noticed.
Yes.
More like
Borderline offensive.
Curious. Educational
You're free to be
purposes.
curious. But you're free to explore as much as you want. We're generous people. We give you the clues off our backs, whether you want it or not.
I don't
That
need to
explains
close
a great
though.
deal.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
I recognize my name was said. Okay.
I was gonna read again. While I speak.
Yeah, the old man just starts translating for you.
Oh, the old man's gonna translate for me? Okay.
Yeah, he saw what you were about to do.
If I might borrow Laura for a moment, if that's permissible, perhaps you could go and find Ashara.
I could try, but you know, you don't need to ask my permission to borrow Laura. Laura's not an object. But Laura understands your language, so why do you need a translator?
I'm speaking to.
But then you said Eins first.
I was.
That man is
speaking
looking at you
and
very
then
confused.
Looking at Laura, if that's permissible. Whenever I stated, if I can borrow you, is basically what. Hey, I'm gonna borrow Laura, if that's okay with you, Laura. Maybe you should go and check out and find Ashara, which is what I was trying to say.
That was convoluted.
Yes.
Maybe.
Could be a good move. However, we really should be leaving. We do have a mission. And I just kind of walk off and start looking for Ashara.
So, what is it, Beetle?
Sir, why exactly did you want to bring us to the Elders? Or to bring me to the Elders? Would my companion be welcomed as well?
Oh yeah, we're a very welcoming people. We accept guests from everywhere, so long as they're willing to hang around for at least a couple of minutes. They take a minute before they are willing to talk.
Of course, you should lead the way.
To the elders.
Yes.
He turns around and points at the longhouse that you are barely 5 feet out of.
Oh, we're only 5 feet away from it? I figured we were farther outside after I chased Richard.
Oh. I thought you were just yelling at him.
I was chasing Richard.
I yelled at him.
Yelling, you better put down the chicken right now!
No!
Me!
No, I was chasing Richard, so how far away would I be from this?
Maybe about 100 feet or so.
Okay, sweet, so then...
It's not too far off.
Are we gonna walk off without him, or...?
Well,
Without Richard?
Richard is apparently doing his own thing.
Okay, sweet, alright.
He's fine.
Let's go back to this nice log cabin. They have cheese! It's
Alright.
quite a delicacy in Joel. We hardly ever get any milk. There's not quite enough, grazing room for cows up there.
I hear you
Well-
gotta get creative in getting your milk.
Yes, we make cashew milk and almond milk.
I heard different, but okay.
So you're going to have to excuse my friend. They're very backwards people.
I noticed. Apparently they still call themselves Jewel.
Of course we do.
I'm detecting time rift in this shit. If they still call themselves Jewel. I got a bad feeling about this.
Well, he also said that this place was copied from frickin' Northern Imperia, so this isn't even like another quote-unquote dimension. This is a complete construction. This is a plane that was created by whoever owns it.
Damn it, Phyrexia.
I'm gonna grab
Pardon,
the card and just start
um,
walking away from this dude.
Alright.
So,
Back towards the
what
office.
year is it, if I might ask? What
Grabbing-
year would it be here, if I might ask?
One more time.
Um,
Laura, what did you say?
pardon me, sir. But what year is it, if I might ask?
The year?
Yes.
To be honest, not even sure. We don't keep track.
What was the last time? Do you have any historical dates that you recall?
We don't keep track of such things. I mean, we keep track of when we need to harvest. We're a village of 200 people. Things have been the same for the last 100 generations as far as we're concerned.
I see.
Migrate. Beyond that,
About how long would you reckon that they stopped calling Sky City Jewel? They stopped calling Jewel Sky City.
well, the same way that the Celestian Empire is sometimes the Empire of Celestia.
I mean, about how many generations back would you say that it started being called Jewel? It started being called Sky City as opposed to Jewel.
No idea.
But many, you would say, correct?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, sir.
He seems
And
just very confused by that line of questioning.
I got a bad feeling about this. Okay, I'm gonna follow Beetle.
Yep, Beetle gonna take you by the arm and kind of like hunch down, and whisper to you. I don't think that we're in Kansas anymore. And also I don't think that everybody here is aware of it.
Yes, I was getting that impression.
That man's not gonna answer any of your questions at all. I have something even stranger to show you.
And what would that be?
Mirror people.
Mirror people?
Mirror people! They look the exact same as each other. It's frightening.
Mm-hmm. Well then, let me see them.
But I feel like we might be able to get more answers out of them than we are to get answers out of him. In fact, they even mentioned teleportation.
I've never heard of twins before.
Yeah. This is going to require another line of questioning.
This is not like twins! It's unnerving. Let's go. And then I'm gonna bring them inside of the...
Alright, you see that a couple of mice started getting at your cheese wheel.
No! I'm gonna shoo them away.
Alright, you see that one of them has its teeth stuck and it's trying to run away, and you see the cheese get pulled onto the floor as it's trying to get away with your
I'm
cheese.
just gonna let it go with the tiny piece of cheese.
No, it's
Cheese
turning the whole
wheels
wheel.
can
No!
cheese wheels can weigh up to 200 pounds. How does a mouse move that?
It's Mighty Mouse.
For real? Like cheese
It's a wheel of
wheels?
cheese, about yay big, and it's
Yeah, that's like 100 plus pounds.
of cheese?
Yes, I actually watched a video about cheese wheels, like literally the other day 'cause I was bored. An average cheese wheel weighs like over 100 pounds.
Beetle will eat his weight in cheese.
Alright,
I
it's
like
a
how that
big
popped up.
fucking mouse. Or rat. That's canon now. It's canon
It's
now.
it's a rodent of unusual size.
This rat is of an unusual size, and it's canon now.
What you fail to understand, Beetle, is over the past 10 years, I developed an immunity to iocane powder.
As you tug the cheese wheel away, it seems a little disheartened, but it still takes a chunk of cheese, swallows it, and runs off.
It just swallows. What a monster! Do you have any other gigantic pests here? That's quite surprising.
Oh. They both turn to look at you at the same time. Look at each other same time. Back at you. Oh, that's just one of the smaller pests.
Oh, lovely.
We call him Nick.
Loves all life, calls them pests.
We call
Okay,
this
now
one
that-
Nick. He eats the trash around here.
I wouldn't consider cheese to be trash, but okay.
You abandoned it.
Oh, it's an abandoned little plate.
You just up and left.
My friend stole one of the town's chickens and is running around. It was quite a conundrum. You should have seen it. I'm sorry.
I feel more sorry for the cheese.
I do too.
I feel sorry for the chicken.
So, you abandoned us while we were telling our story.
I apologize.
And who's this new fresh face?
This is Norlin. She's deadly and wonderful.
Deadly and
Okay.
wonderful. Wonderful combination.
Pleasure to meet both of you.
You see one of them get up, and he's just hunched back as he's just walking on down. He might have stood proudly in his prime at 6 feet, but thing is, he's so old that he barely stands at 4.5 feet as he's walking up to you.
Mhm.
Offers his hand up.
I accept.
He takes it, brings it to his lips, and you just feel like almost your hand was kissed by sand.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
So, what can we do for you, lass? Yes, lass and girl, come sit with us. Sit with us, gorgeous strong man.
Quick question, are they all wearing shoes in here? Or did
Oh,
they
yeah,
take
they
your... Okay, just checking. Want to make sure I'm not going to do a faux pas and, disgrace myself in front of them with something that simple. Now, when I see them, what do they look like? Are they the
They're
exact same?
garbed in grayish, whitish robes that is on one layer. There is another set of clothing underneath it that is bluish and reds. Almost looks like silk underneath it. And what looks like to be a large shawl on top of their heads as well. But still kind of showing their hair and all that. Despite them being men, they are wearing shawls.
Are they, what I mean to say is, do they look the exact same as each other?
Oh, in every way. But mirrored.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on the left is on the right for the other person.
Mm-hmm. I'll sit down and I'll say, tell me, do you two happen to be twins or related?
Nah.
You have strikingly similar features.
Elbow jab, Laurelin.
Common misunderstanding. The other one is doing the same gesture with the left hand as the other's doing with the right.
I see. Like some disgusting puppet controlled on either side by one man. Okay. Like a ventriloquist from hell.
You just gonna make a joke reference to a play.
Okay.
And then he's gonna go, so tell me, which one of you always tells the truth and which one of you always lies?
Definitely him. Definitely I.
Which one was that? The one on the left or the right?
Definitely him would be the one on the left. Definitely I would be the one on the right.
Oh dear. Are they tieflings?
No, they're just old men. Human.
Human. Okay. Well, in that case, I can trust them impeccably. How could you not trust a human? I mean, they're not filthy tiefling. No. So, you were telling a story? Have I missed anything interesting yet?
Well, it seems that brought a lot of friends here. And, well, why are you guys coming through here, really?
We're on our way to Lullen.
Lullen. We have someone from Lullen.
Really? Tell me, who are they?
Yeah. She's actually called, Calorhun.
Calaron?
Calhoun.
Calderon.
Fine lass.
According to the man we met on our way here, he said that she was a bit eaten up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Apparently she tried to escape.
Escape what?
Lullen.
From the siege?
I don't know. We don't ask questions, and they don't ask questions. She's
Is
just
she
said
able-
where she's from, and we're like, we don't care.
Is she capable of speaking?
Yeah, she is currently working right now. Earning her keep, if you will.
Oh, very good. May I speak with her at some point?
You're free to come and go as you please.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're free to talk to whoever you want. I mean, we live however we damn well please here.
If I might ask, where exactly would she be working?
She's actually working as a trader. She actually does a very good job finding out what people want and finding a way to get them what they want. So she's all over the place.
She wouldn't happen to know the cowardly traitor on the other side of the demon army, would she?
Cowardly trader?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna tell them the story of how we met this dude and how he cowered in his sleeping bag the whole time.
Oh yeah, he comes through here every couple of months. Ever since we established camp here.
You really shouldn't let him back in here. I believe he's stealing from people.
Most unfortunate. But that doesn't make sense, but okay.
Out of curiosity, about when did you establish camp here?
7 months ago, about.
This village you have seemed to have gone up very quickly.
Yeah,
How were you able to do so?
we have people and manpower.
Out of curiosity, how many houses are built up around here?
About 50.
About 50 well-built houses, or
Oh,
they
they're,
small
they're
huts?
stable enough. It's like a hamlet. It's a small village.
Okay.
And it seems like it took no effort whatsoever.
Hmm. Tell me, why is it that it appears to be trees on the outskirts of town until you walk just outside of it?
No idea what you're talking about.
Have you walked outside in a while?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of town?
Yes. I mean, I need to go get my own water eventually.
That's fair, that's fair. But water from where exactly?
The river.
The river?
The river.
Oh dear. Well then, you said that the person from Lullen, she is going to be around town, or is she outside of town?
Oh, she's in town. She doesn't want to leave as far as I can tell, but she spends a lot of time harassing people, figuring out what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently she's weirdly ambitious.
Well, some people have greater desires in life.
There's nothing wrong with ambition. Great-great-grandfather God. Sorry, his name's it's a bit hard to translate from Infernal, but I believe it was Gradunkus?
Gradunkus.
He was quite an ambitious man. He once climbed the Mages Guilds just for the hell of it, and cast Featherfall in order to surprise someone below.
Is he a bard by chance?
Of course, the Barnabas family.
The Barnabas family.
Yes.
The other one just looks at the other one.
Barnabas.
We were quite respected in our time. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. You've heard of my family?
Well, of course. It's a legendary name. It's known across everywhere. It has the biggest theaters.
Did have the biggest theaters.
If you say so.
You wouldn't happen to recognize this, would you? He's going to pull out the tome. Or perhaps some of these works. And he's going to flip open to a poem written by Beetle Barnabas the First.
Goes ahead, looks it over.
Yeah, legendary piece. I mean, it's actually in a great hall inside of Sky City. Mausoleum, if you will. It's often referred to as a source of inspiration, no? Or used to? He said used to. Yeah, okay. Used to.
I see. This is one of the pieces that he had not published. When are we?
I don't understand.
My family, had to very quickly pack up and leave.
They
There
both
was
look at each other.
a war. Do you not remember the war?
There is no war.
In Celestia?
There's just no war.
They both are just giving like one raised left eye, another.
There is no war. I see. Well, I'm very glad to know that you are familiar with my family's works, and if you'd like, I could perhaps even put on a show for you.
It'd be nice to see an original again.
Of course.
It's been a couple decades seeing Barnabas come through this village.
I've even written a song about the crazy madman outside. He's slain a kraken by himself.
Do tell us more.
And
Is this true, miss?
More.
More?
More?
He went ahead and he claims to have killed a kraken. There was some help.
Think about it. It was quite an interesting tale.
Why would one be so brave to fight a kraken, though?
I believe it's stupidity and alcohol.
God's two greatest gifts.
Of course. The greatest gift that mankind ever had.
Don't give humanity all the credit for stupidity.
Oh, I meant alcohol.
Oh, yeah, God bless them.
Believe me, I know that there are plenty of stupid dwarves.
It's been a minute since I've seen a dwarf, though.
There's a couple of metalworking dwarfs and halflings in Jewel. They are crass, I believe is the word.
That's at least a rumor of what a dwarf is.
They have more cake than a bakery, though. I'm gonna perform for them where's my performance? The song that I wrote about
If you will both pardon me.
about Little Dicky.
I'm gonna say, if you would both pardon me.
It's a 13. That's sad.
They're just sitting back.
I'm gonna try to
Are you sure your last name is Barnabas?
I am sure my last name is
Are
Barnabas.
you adopted, perchance?
Of course not. Tell me, who would adopt a tiefling?
Half this village?
Well, that's true. I'm very glad. I quite honestly have not seen very many tieflings outside of Jewel.
That's weird. They're the dominant population.
I'm gonna give a side glance to Laura.
I'm partially out of the room already. I'm gonna go for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking for the person from Lolland.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you leave. That's interesting. Tell me, do you know Bale?
May have heard of them a couple of times.
The place.
The person or the place?
The place, not the person.
Okay, sure. We'll talk about the place.
You see one of them just jotting notes down.
They're jotting notes down?
Mm-hmm.
Why? I thought that, you folks didn't keep a record here.
We don't.
As they're jotting notes.
They're jotting notes. So why the record?
Who says it's a record?
What is it?
It's a note.
Okay.
And you don't see a library around here, do you?
Of course not, but I've only been in one of your gorgeous log homes.
Well, we can go ahead and fix that. You know what? I know someone that you like.
As you're going around looking for Ashara, you find one person who seems to mostly be wearing rags as opposed to a proper outfit.
On a side note, I gotta point out the meta knowledge is murder here. This place is very bad. But alright.
You don't have to have meta to know this is bad.
No, this is just knowledge from 600 years ago. But alright, go ahead. What's going on?
This person walks up to you. Boy, No,
yes?
she's just walking up to you. Her hair is like scraggly, and you see that her tusks are partially chipped. She is an orc. And would you happen to be in need of anything?
Not in particular. Is there something I can
everyone
help you
needs
with?
something. I mean, do you need money, books? What do you need? You see. I get people things. And you seem to be lost. Or looking for something. You have that face.
Well, technically, two of my friends ran in random directions. One of them has a chicken.
You hear Bok Bok as a person runs behind. Found him! And she puts out her hand.
I just hand her an emerald?
That's a start. He runs off.
Don't feed the 99%.
I was like... So is she still there, or did she just run off?
No,
Richard.
Richard ran off. With the chicken.
I'm just looking really confused right now. Like, well... Maybe you could explain to me why there's this weird whispering everywhere?
I could go ahead and find out for you if it really is important to you.
I feel like it's familiar, but I don't know why.
There's this city called Jewel, and they actually have some of the biggest libraries. I mean, it is gargantuan as to how far the records will go.
I actually just came from there. I've been looking in their libraries for some time.
Well, then you might want to go back. Well, I don't want to leave, so I give you directions, so... She puts out her hand.
I already know how to get there. I just came from there a day or two ago.
Don't be a cheapskate.
I hand her another emerald! And I just walk away!
She's just smiling at you. So, now that I solved your hearing problems...
I'm just walking looking for Ash.
Well, what else are you looking for? You walk with purpose.
I'm looking for someone named Ashara.
I don't know an Ashara.
Like
I
a
can
friend of
find an
mine?
Ashara. I'm very good at finding people.
Not just any particular Ashara, the specific Ashara that I am looking for. They're a monk. They use swords. They're very quiet,
What is it
but
worth
they
to
ran
you?
off with someone. Huh?
What is it worth to you to find this Ashara? Is she like a girlfriend or something?
No? There's a random person I'm supposed to be guiding to Lulin?
So you think that might be worth, I don't know, a ruby?
No?
How much?
I could give you another emerald.
Come on. Because clearly, you don't know where anything is here.
I mean, I watched where Ashara was dragged to. I mean, I literally watched Ashara get dragged off into a particular building. I just need to find the exact building I saw Ashara enter. I was watching.
Well, if you think that you can find her without me. You see that she stands in front of you, puts her hands down, twiddling her thumbs, steps to the side, and she seems to give a knowing smile.
I walk past.
Alright. And as you walk past, it's not too far off to see the building that you think she was brought in.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I look inside.
It's closed.
Is this like a tavern or something? I look for...
It looks like a domicile.
I knock on the... What is that weird reverb? Okay, it's gone. Apparently. I knock on the door.
Wait. This place
As you
has
knock on the
calls.
door, you see a child come out wearing a long white shirt that's very oversized, probably wearing their father's shirt or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
looking up at you. What do you want, mister?
Is there an Ashara here? I thought I saw someone, a friend of mine named Ashara, brought in here.
I don't know of an Ashara here.
Must be the wrong place. Thank you. I turn around and start looking for the right house. For the right building.
As you turn around looking around, you get a sense that it is the correct house that you were at. The houses around it are similar. You see one like small outside tavern that is next to the building.
I look in the
distinct.
tavern. Maybe Ashara like jumped. Maybe while I was walking in, Ashara went to the tavern. I mean, if it's a tavern right next to it.
It's an outdoor tavern. You don't
So I'm looking
see
through.
Char there, though.
You're assuming they know Ashara's name as well.
True.
They might not.
I ain't paying a ruby to find someone who I wasn't even paid to guide in the first place.
Well, what you asked the house was whether or not Ashara was there. What you should ask is,
True.
did someone come in there who happened to have a scimitar on their hip?
Though I did specify that they, were my friend and they should have just been led there. So even if they didn't know the name, the implication was someone was just led there. So,
But you did say Ashara as well, and that might be what they're basing it off of, was the name itself.
maybe, but I don't think I would have thought of that specifically.
True.
So I'm just going to kind of keep wandering the area and try and sleuth this out.
So, you go ahead, start wandering the area some more. You do see Laura starting to wander around, and Laura, you do spot Ein.
I'll go up to Ein. How goes the search for Ashara?
Well, Richard just ran off that direction holding a chicken, and Ashara is supposed to be inside that building right there, but they've never heard of her.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a really weird woman that's trying to get money for everything that she hasn't actually done.
Someone who's trying to get money.
I think she's what's called a scammer? I haven't met a whole lot of people, but I'm pretty sure that's what she is.
Did she happen to say a name?
No, she just said she's good at finding things. She expected me to pay her for directions to Jewel when I told her I just came from there.
There happens to be someone who's very good at finding things who I'm trying to find myself. Supposedly, the person who escaped Lullen.
Well, she did have really ratty clothes.
Mm-hmm. How do you go ahead and pronounce her name again, Jacob?
Calhorn.
Calhorn. Yes, her name is Calhorn.
Well, she was just right around there. Kind of point in the direction.
Yep,
Do
you
I see
that
anything?
she's antagonizing another person in the street for work.
Is she the one who's mouthing off to everyone?
Uh-huh.
Alright, I need to have a word with her. Would you like to come along?
Okay.
I go up to her.
Alright, as you go up to her, the person just basically waves her off and looks at the two of you. I assure you, my friends, she is not worth the trouble.
But she might have
He just
information.
walks off as the girl's just like, oh, come on! I know you've been looking for it. I can find the sphere, I promise you.
Calhorn, I presume? Survivor of Lullen?
Calhorn, yeah.
We were sent to go ahead and find out what happened to Lullen.
Oh, well, a lot has happened to Lullen.
Why did you lose contact with Jewel?
Because it's under siege. It's really hard to talk, and on top of that, there's no magic out here.
Now I'm very confused because they claimed they were communicating just fine until recently, even under siege.
That's really funny. Well, I mean, I was just a commoner there.
How long ago?
Well, I arrived here a couple months ago.
We were told that So it was under siege. How did you escape the siege?
Come again?
How did you escape the siege?
I dug a hole, and I climbed through that hole, and I ran really quick.
Insight check. I don't trust this at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna insight that one too.
I'm gonna assist Kyle in the insight check here.
All right. Yeah, I've got a +3 insight.
Look, just squinting really hard at this child.
Well, she's not necessarily a child,
Oh,
but
you said small person.
She's
Something
small.
said Child.
she's small. Malnourished, of course.
Wait,
But-
she's malnourished, but everyone else isn't?
Correct.
Cause she's from Lola.
But she's been here for several months.
A couple months.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, like 2 months. Okay.
Anyways, from what you can gather, Ein, she seems to not even believe the story herself. But at the same time, it's like you tell us you can't believe something happened. Kind of like
So-
that time in South Dakota, you had someone give you gas and just give you literally 10 cents to spite you.
Yes. They used their card and gave me 10 cents. It cost them more than the 10 cents of gas to use the card. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck South
She
Dakota.
doesn't seem to believe that it was possible, but that it seems to be in a similar vein of, I can't believe it worked.
How long were you digging for?
Oh, I was a third generation digger.
Third generation. How? Where-
Grandpa what started it, then he died when he was sent to the wall, and then my daddy continued it after he discovered it, and then he died, and I kind of continued it.
I pull out. Well, actually, I look at Laura. Can you give us that map that we purchased from the person?
Sure,
From the
I'll
merchant?
hand.
She's speaking Empyrean just fine.
Okay.
Mhm. That's worrying. I'll hand Ein the map, and I will go ahead and say, so what you're telling me is you've just created a hole for the enemy army to crawl into Lullen through that bypasses the defenses.
Hypothetically, yes, but I got out, so it's okay now.
I hold up the map, and I point to Lullen. Where does the hole exit?
The hole would be maybe about 5.5 miles south of Lowland.
I just hold up the map and I kind of point like where.
She just kind of points in a generic direction. And
I
just
go-
kind of pokes at the map,
Direction. Is it like this?
just like
Just
somewhere around here. And with that,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to go ahead and take a quick break.
Okay.
Sweet, yo, what's up, viewers?
In a hot minute.
There's 3 of us here.
Break. And we are back. So, Ein and Laura have found
Yes.
Calhoun, who's been questionable in her help.
Seems to be her MO here.
Yes, quite.
While Beetle has been questioning where exactly all of you are. So who wants to take it?
Calhoun, out of curiosity, when you escaped from Lullen, what was the situation of the city?
Oh, it's very massively under siege, of course.
Has it been taken yet?
Oh, well, when I left, no. I just wanted out.
I see.
I
What
mean,
type of army is surrounding it?
Predominantly ogres and undead goblins.
Were
And a
there
couple of
always
giants.
were there always goblins in this area?
As far as I was told growing up, no.
And are giants and ogres native to this land?
Giants? No. Ogres? Sometimes.
Out of character, that is very fucking worrying then, because apparently whatever's breaking through the plains is bringing giants and fucking goblins. Okay. Well, thank you for your time then. And do you have anything
And
else?
she holds out her hand and just starts scratching her palm.
Are you diseased? Is there something wrong with your arm?
I gave
I
you
could have someone take a
information
look at it.
that you wanted. I found something that you wanted, therefore I should be compensated.
Of course. And I'll give her an emerald.
She blinks a few times incredulously at it.
I just walk away.
I follow.
Now, Ein, have you had any luck finding Ash?
Ash was supposed to have. You saw. Well, actually, no. You were looking the other way, which was a good idea. If you hadn't been looking the other way, we could have been snuck up on. But Ash entered the building, the building right over there. But they say that there's no Ash there. That no one's entered recently. So I don't actually know where Ash might be.
Well, I don't think we should be trusting these people with most anything. Come with
Maybe
me.
this does seem quite suspicious. I follow.
As I'm going up there, I'm going to talk to Ein in whispers and say, Ein,
Mm-hmm. Yes?
if you remember, Beetle is very fond of his work and his music whenever we speak with him. He believes himself to be a great bard and that what he's doing is incredible with his family line.
Uh-huh.
These people seem to know of his work.
Okay.
So, I'm deducing there is one of two conclusions. Either A, we've entered a plane which is set in the future, which isn't impossible from a different dimensional standpoint, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or B, this is simply a, if you will, illusion that is fulfilling people's desires. He desires to be recognized for his work. He desires to see grass, clean air, trees, all that. I desire to go ahead and find a way into Lullin.
I mean, that would make sense because while they said that taking influence when I entered here, the forest looked like where I was raised, and I just keep hearing those whispers that sound, I can't place them, but they sound familiar. But this whole place feels like I've been here before, like it's somewhere that I want to be. So that might be an interesting idea. I still think that we need, now that we've gotten an area on the map to look, we need to leave. I mean, we should get Beetle and get, Ashara and Richard and leave. If we can't convince anyone though, I mean, we need to just, we should leave without them if they can't be convinced. This is not where we should be, and this is very potentially dangerous place. Regardless, this is a very time-consuming side adventure.
I'm going to look out at the forest behind us, or around us, I should say.
It is around.
And can I say what it looks like to me?
Oh, yeah. It is very heavily forested. It is definitely fauna and trees from the north of Celestia and Imperia.
Mm-hmm.
You know a bit more courtesy of your education, but it is one of perpetual springtime.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost swear that you see the odd deer running through the trees.
Okay. That's what I need to know.
So it looks like this is Celestia to you?
Celestia and apparently it looks like Northern Celestia and Northern Imperia. So it would
Okay.
look similar to us. I was wondering the same thing if it looked different.
Yeah, because Because then I guess technically, since we can't really talk to each other, we can't really say if we're seeing different things. But
I was going to go up to it and say, do you see this tree here? What does it look like, kind of thing, so we could find out. But if it looks, my best guess, this is what's going through Laura's head right now, is that it looks the same to everyone here. It's just based off of one person's memories and ideas, each individual aspect.
most likely. Maybe there's one particular aspect of everything here tailored to any one particular person's desires.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a culmination of everyone's desires that created this, potentially.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what Laura's thinking, I should say.
Ein has no idea. Ein just thinks that this place is dangerous and wants to leave because it doesn't need to be here.
Laura should have been a fucking wizard with all these questions I keep fucking asking, but okay.
I know, right?
I am the Inquisitor. Tell me everything.
Well, you already dropped that character almost a year ago.
Yeah, I know, he was horrendous.
More than Inquisition.
No one does. Okay, we're going up to the house Ein said he went to. And is the door open or closed?
Closed.
Okay. I'm going to knock on the door.
Alright, as you knock on the door, a little bit of silence, followed with a patter of a couple of bare footsteps as you see the same child opening the door, looking up at the two of you. Oh, hello. Hello
Hello
again.
She has a question for you.
Okay, I'll do what I can to help.
Pardon me, have you seen has a person come in here, they would have had a sword on their hip, female?
No one has weapons inside of the city.
Really? Do I have a weapon?
Do you check?
Yes!
You just realize you have no weapon.
Oh, fuck.
How did I slice the cheese with my knife?
It's a butter knife.
What about my stick? Do I still have my stick from a tree?
Your stick's gone!
You see that there's actually growth over your stick.
I am okay with this.
Wait,
I still have
No.
a jeweled knife. I have to check for that. Oh my god, okay.
Everyone's suddenly
Ash have
panicking.
arms?
No,
Ash is a
I'm not
monk.
panic.
Does she have arms and legs?
The thing is, as you feel the panic rising in your mind, the stress of losing your weapons, but the thing is, you realize you were at so much peace, even idea of conflict never crossed your mind to even check your weapons. But only at this realization, realize that your weapons have transformed, if not, seem to be missing.
Okay, I push the panic down. It's okay, we're leaving. We are not staying here.
My weapon's better. It's growing
Actually
again.
is
It now
gorgeous
causes
as
poison
the
damage.
leaves that are actually around your staff seems to actually come from the north as well, but at the same time, the way that the stick is, the staff, it seems to be
Well, it's a stick,
gnarled
it's not a
in
staff.
way, like it was taken off of the root of a tree.
Take it off of the root, like if it was a secondary small tree that was just like cut off.
On second thought,
But not like cut off, but fell off.
Okay, so like there's not even cut marks; it's just natural breakage.
Natural debris that is now your staff.
allow me to ask a different question. Did you see a human woman come in here? She's wearing a bit, I guess, ratty clothing would be the way of saying it.
No, there was no woman that came through here. I mean, if you guys want to look at the inside of my home, you could have just asked.
Would we? That would be lovely, thank you.
Alright, the small child just turns around, waddles inside. You see that there are a couple of candles that are lit up. And you see weird marks on the walls and weird symbols all over the place.
Arcana.
It's definitely magical.
Shit.
Well, can I identify what kind of magic?
What's your
Plus
Arcana?
3 Arcana. Plus 3.
You realize that with the sheer quantity of blood that is everywhere,
What?
It is definitely blood magic of some kind. You recognize a lot of, from your church education days, a lot of symbols that are heavily tied to not necessarily just the occult, but even the dark arts, where people are even threatened if they even talk about it. It's kind of a curse word.
I grab Laura's arm and just turn around and start. I don't say anything, but I just pull Laura out of the building.
Oh, what's wrong?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just pulling Laura out of the building.
Which way to the restroom out here, Ina?
It was this
Though,
way.
interestingly enough, you don't recognize anywhere near the symbols that Ein would know. Laura.
Mhm.
And a lot of it's just it just, the amount of blood is disturbing enough. But it's the symbols for Ein that you have a direct understanding of what they all mean.
The minute we're out of the house, I'm gonna crouch next to Ein and say, if we need to get out of here, tap me twice on the shoulder.
I just tap twice on the shoulder.
I look around, do I see Richard anywhere?
You do not see Richard, but you do see the girl harassing someone else, Beetle.
I don't care. Fuck her. We're not interested. We are going towards
After
the...
they kind of start getting bothered with your questions, so they ended up kicking you out.
Oh, they kicked me out? Okay, cool.
And you are bothered by this orcish lady. Come on, I know I got something for you.
What
do you want?
have for me?
Tell me what you want. I know I can find it. I can get it. I'm really good at it.
Are we seeing this, by the way, Jacob?
You see, for sure, Beetle's just thinking as he's talking to Cahorin.
Pardon me, Beetle, may I have a moment of your time?
You can have all of my time. I am quite frankly.
No. I'm trying to offer you a service.
Oh, you want to give me a service? I have a service for you. Suck my dick.
Well, if you got maybe a ruby or two, we can have that
Oh,
conversation.
that was sarcastic. All right, I think we should leave. We're in the past. We're in the past.
Beetle, would you come with me, please? I want to discuss something with you in private.
Okay.
And just... Are we out of the earshot of Calhorn?
1 second. Okay.
Okay.
So, with that, can you repeat that?
Beetle is joining me and Ein at the moment as we're walking.
Alright, where are you guys walking?
We are walking towards the trail opposite of where we came in.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, Beetle, where's your weapon?
It's right. I'm gonna pull up the butter knife. Here. He's gonna scramble in his bag.
It's a really dulled butter knife.
He's gonna scramble in his bag and look for the
Beetle,
knife
calm
in his
down.
spot.
You see a hilt, but it's a weirdly decorated hilt, and you see it is far more ornate than before. And you see it just glisten. Roll a d20 in perception.
Oh shit.
I don't see shit. 4.
Wow. And that's with your character perception bonus.
Yep.
Wow. Alright,
I
but
rolled a nat 1.
as you see this blade, as decorated as it is, you just see the hilt. You don't see the blade, it's just buried under other stuff. You just can't see. As you pull it out, you just... And as it just comes out, you just see that it has a gorgeous silver glint at the edge of it. And you see what looks like to be on the inside of the actual blade itself. It's a dark black, but you see what looks like pools of blood just oozing up and down.
Like a lava lamp?
Like a lava lamp. But it's...
Thing's amazing! This is the best thing I've ever traded for! Look at
Roll
it!
a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 17?
Okay. Never mind
And
then.
as you're saying that, I just go, hush,
Never mind then.
hush. I'm whispering. I was like, hush, hush, hush.
I'm gonna put it back in my bag really quickly.
You find that as you try to put it back in, it just cuts into the bag.
Oh great! I'm gonna put it inside of my loop.
So you just find... Okay, you put it inside of your loot carefully.
Yeah.
It's a pretty massive blade. It's like a long sword.
Oh my god.
A curved long sword.
I'll put my hands on both Beetle and Ein and say, you two, get out of the grassy area and stay there. I'll be back. I have to go find Richard.
I have a theory. I
just-
fear that if we go out the opposite direction that we came in, we will be in another time.
I'm looking at you as if pretending to understand what you're saying. I smile and nod, but I obviously don't comprehend.
I'm gonna mage hand. Sorry, I can't. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. I'm gonna minor illusion a clock.
You sure
Wait.
you want to do that?
Don't do magic!
You're in a different plane, though.
I'd
To a
have to be
degree.
asking, are you sure?
Oh shit. We didn't tell
Don't
him
know all
about
the
the
rules yet.
army.
I don't know all the rules yet. Okay.
We didn't tell
I'm
him
not
about
gonna
the
do that.
army.
I'm gonna take a stick. I'm gonna steal his stick in front of him. I'm gonna like.
And do you
I'm gonna
let...
yank the stick away from you.
And do you let him take
When
the
you try and take the stick, like I pull it away from you and look very, very like protective of this stick.
I'm
Like if
gonna-
you tried to steal my best friend suddenly.
I'm
Like-
gonna mimic writing and point at your stick.
I'm looking at you like you're trying to kick my dog.
I'm gonna mimic writing and point at your stick.
Laura, you're watching all of this.
I'm on my way to find Richard. Do I see
I
him
pull
there?
out paper and give you a pen and ink.
Sick. All right.
Oh, by the way, you picked up the word sick.
I picked up the word sick. I just like look at you so confused.
Sick means
I'm like-
awesome.
You picked up sick is awesome.
Sick!
I just start shaking my head like this is a sick person. This
Do you
is
say that out loud?
no, I'm just thinking it.
Okay.
I do mutter to myself, what is wrong with this person?
You hear what is wrong with this person.
So you actually understood that full
I can
statement.
hear you.
And as you say that, you hear Beetle speaking Empyrean to you.
Dumbasses, get the fuck out!
I just look at you really weird. I'm like, when did you learn Empyrean?
I didn't let's go. Okay. So here's my theory. I have so many questions for you and so many things I'd like to talk about, but this is far more important.
No, most important thing is leaving now. Leave now. Leave now. Talk later.
We're walking,
Let's go.
walking, Let's go. But I think
Like you can also see like a look of panic. I can just like leave now. Talk later. Okay, fine. Go talk.
we're gonna talk now. I fear that if we leave out the opposite direction at which we came in, we will be somewhere else.
We would technically be in a different location. Yes.
No. The elders were telling me that they know of my family. My family is dead. Well, most of them. All of the bards are dead anyway. They're old.
And
They say that we have
fine.
theater.
Religion check.
Oh yeah, religion check. I've got
She's
plus.
just describing the plains of hell in your mind.
What did I roll?
You had a plus what?
Just plus 1.
Oh, 20.
Oh gosh. I was like, we need to leave.
That
we need to
is,
leave.
in your mind, your faith has that covered aggressively, and that he's describing it as hell. In your mind.
We need to leave now, even more now. In fact, not this direction. We're gonna go back exactly where we came from. We need to find Laura, and we need to leave. Okay, we need to go now. I just turn around and start running. I just start running.
I'm trying to find Richard still.
Just gonna run after Ryan.
Okay, so as you're running around, just looking for Laura, as Laura is looking for Richard, you
Damn it, you idiots!
do find that Richard has managed to find clothing, but he also still has a chicken.
Also, we're running back to where, like, I'm running back to where we first entered, like our
Yeah.
original entry point.
Yeah.
So.
I know.
Okay. So I found Richard, or they
Yeah,
found
he
Richard?
just seems to be just holding a chicken.
No, who found him? Did I
You
find
did.
him?
Or
Richard.
he seems a bit perturbed.
Richard, it's time to go. We have places to be, remember?
Okay.
Let's go. Come along. And I'll take him by the arm, gently, and I'll start leading him back up the road where we came from, because I see those two running there.
And he goes with you, but he seems to be very slow about it, as Lord knows what happened.
It's fine, Richard. Come along. It's fine. We're not going to have any trouble unless you try not to leave. That was out of character, but that's how I'm feeling.
I'd like to go.
What white cat was that? Who the hell has a Siamese?
Surprise string kitty.
Surprise stream kittens.
Oh, God.
We're only allowed to have one animal photo bombing, okay?
Nice ass.
Okay, so Arn and Beetle, as you arrive at the exit, and as you step out, and you're still holding the sword, just holding it to the side. What are you doing with it?
I'm just holding it to the side.
All right, as you're stepping onto the other side, you don't see the forest fading away, but you do see vines starting to tear trees down, both of you.
As we leave,
Yep.
as we step off of the grass.
Mhm.
This is not good.
I told you not to come here. I said it. I tried to get us to leave. I warned
I'm
you.
sorry.
You don't
You
understand
were
each
right.
other
Oh, we
anymore.
don't understand each other anymore?
Oh gosh. Well, so are we not in the desert though, or
You're not
is
in the
it?
desert.
Yeah,
And I
scheiße.
point at you and point at my brain as if to say I knew it. And I'm gonna roll.
I point at you, and then I point at myself, and then I point to the food in your bag, and then I just give like a violent what? Like. I point at my mouth, and point at you, and point at the food in your bag.
Hand him some of the food in my bag.
All right,
I
you
just,
see food in front of you. It looks actually
No, I'm just like
richer than
shaking.
before.
I'm shaking my hands back and forth, and just like. I'm just like looking angry and trying to gesture.
Should I eat it?
I'm just like, girl.
I know.
I'm just like putting my hand on I just like put my head in my hand. Like. This would be one of those moments where if my character could understand and speak your language, he would no longer have that meek demeanor anymore. He'd be bitching you out right now.
Oh, I bet he would be. Is the sword still a sword?
Oh, you see that it is actually giving off a blackish, reddish glow. And you
Oh god,
hear
sword magic!
one of the tunes of your family just creeping in the back of your mind. And it seems to be... Hey!
It's a bad kitty.
I pick up one of my papers and my ink pen, and I draw. Oh, good. Sorry.
And you feel yourself more encouraged, as if all the fear that you've ever held, all doubts, all negative emotions, it's just not necessarily just purged, but refocused. Kind of like the first time you would fire a gun, just that bullet laser eye focus just seems to be creeping in.
Okay. So it is very much still a sword, and there are vines breaking down trees, like Cthulhu-sized vines. Are we talking
We're talking like vines yay big, just crawling, just emerging from the ground, grabbing and tearing. just trying to pull it down and tear open a path.
The trees are still there.
The trees are there, but torn apart and down.
Okay, they didn't disappear whenever we stepped off the grass.
Correct.
All right, told you so.
You see me drawing something, and I draw like a big set of double doors that are open. I have like eyeballs and thorns and fire all over the double doors. I draw a monster's head at the top of the doorway, like flames and people like screaming in agony. And then I go ahead and basically shove it in your face, point at you, point behind us, and point at our feet.
I did not do this.
Your religion check. It does talk about how in hell there are often ways to try to go ahead and trick people to stay in a given realm. But usually, so long as you remain true to the faith and hold the faith and push forward, there is a way out. Almost every time.
nod.
It's something to break weaker spirits and those who are not the devout.
I just kind of pause for a moment, and I just look at you. I motion kind of like both of us. I point at both of us. I point at the ground, and then I point behind us. Hold up
As you
two
point behind
fingers.
Laura, you are coming up. You see the trees are still there. As
Do I
Richard is
see-
coming up.
Right. Let's go.
Do I see vines or anything on the trees as I'm going
As
there?
you're going up, you see Richard going, just trying to stop. No. You don't see what everyone else is seeing, but Richard is clearly starting to.
Do I see Richard freaking out?
If only it's a kraken.
Do I see Richard freaking out?
This.
Yeah, what's Richard saying?
No, he's just going, no, he's still holding the chicken.
That's what he would do.
I grab Richard's arm and I say, "What's wrong, Richard?"
Laura, drag him! Drag him!
I
Drag
take off
him!
my backpack and I throw it. Take this. Then I
I
grab
catch
it.
it!
Did you just
Carry
throw
him.
Richard?
No, I
I
threw
threw
my
it through the
backpack.
backpack.
Oh.
I'm gonna carry Richard.
Oh, okay, so you
Fireman
finally
and
carry him, he's
Richard.
going, no.
Shut up, we're going, and I just bolt.
And
what-
he manages to still hold on to that chicken for dear life as
I
he's
don't
being
get-
fireman
keep
carried.
it.
He's basically just holding on to it for dear life and
I'm gonna follow.
When Laura gets
Down.
stop.
when Laura gets next to me, I literally grab Beetle's hand and I grab Laura's hand and I start leading them at a measured but power walk straight into the falling vines and trees and stuff.
So
We're just
you
going
start-
through the bucket.
So you take Laura and grab Laura and
I grab Laura's hands and I grab Beetle's hand and I just start leading them forward, just walking with a purpose in a straight line.
Alright, as you're actually walking forward and as you're carrying the blade, you see that the vines are still very much in the way with Ein pulling you forward. And he seems to be walking
I'm gonna
straight.
start cutting into the vines.
As you actually are approaching, Ein is actually a little bit in the front. As you prepare your blade, you see that parts of the vision just start falling apart, dissipating. Other parts of the visions just failing and dissipating as he's just pushing forward. Each and every single step, but all of you are just seeing the same thing at this point. And after maybe about 100 steps, you see what looks like to be the desert again. And you just see all the greenery just starting to wither away into its original forms.
Behind you, to see if the maw is still there.
The maw is still there.
Okay.
I look at Laura and I say, I need you to do some translating right now. That was hell. That was a gateway to literal hell. That was hell. That house we walked into, that was blood magic. Blood magic, occult magic, dark magic. Ash is
I
dead.
hold up a finger. And I turn to Beetle, and I say, Beetle, what my good Sir Ein here is saying is that was a literal portal to hell.
I'm
There
so
was blood.
sorry!
Wait, not
Insight
so
check.
fast.
What, me?
Yeah,
Telling the truth.
more than that.
15.
He's talking about Empyrean hell.
For the record, Beetle's an atheist.
Yes.
Now,
You,
one other thing.
you do know that there is an Empyrean version of hell, and it's a very complex hell.
It's gonna be really funny, Beetle, when I get my summon back, because you're an atheist, you've been to Empyrean Hell, and I summon a god, so it's gonna be really difficult to explain how you're an atheist in that.
Beetle just doesn't believe yet. there's no proof yet.
Now, Beetle, stay with me, please. Also, we went to the house where Ash was led into, and, well, there was a lot of blood on the walls, and apparently blood magic
Oh my
was
god.
performed there. Yes, we're of the opinion that Ash has, well, expired, and as such, I think it's in our best interest to move around the Maw and continue our exploration to Lullen.
You know, I think that's a good idea. That Calhoun chick freaked me out.
I don't even know if Calhoun is actually from Lullen, but apparently if...
I don't think Calhoun even exists.
Well, actually, I would have picked up on Calhoun, right? But they're speaking in a different language,
Yeah.
so... Yeah, so...
God damn it, speak open. Also, how's Richard reacting on my back? Can I feel him still?
He doesn't have a chicken. How do you think he feels?
I thought so. And I apologize. Would you mind carrying that bag for a little while?
And a just defeated expression that he lost his chicken. He takes the bags.
Are my weapons back?
You see that your dagger, that was a powerful sword, is now back to its original form.
Oh, that's interesting.
And your butter knife, gold butter knife, is back to its original form.
Guys, I
Is
think
my-
that this knife only works if we're in hell. So,
Let's not go back.
yeah, let's absolutely not go back. But now we have an indicator.
Yes, in that case, I suggest we get moving as opposed to standing here talking. We have a lot of
Good
work.
idea. I'm gonna put the knife back inside my bag, and I'm gonna search around my bag.
Alright, go ahead and do an investigation check.
Okay. Just to make sure that Richard didn't steal anything and everything else is all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Investigation, so that's gonna be 18.
Alright, you find a letter.
A letter. Okay.
It wasn't there before.
I'm gonna read it.
So, do you take it out in front of everyone?
No, with my hands like inside my bag.
Alright, so
This is
stealth
gonna
with advantage, and everyone else, perception.
Okay.
Nat 20 first try.
My
Okay.
perception's +5.
Nat 20.
Alright, what's your plus to perception?
It's absolutely horrendous, I'm pretty sure. It's +3.
Alright. Mine's only +2 to stealth, so.
You see that Beetle found something at minimum, and is reading or looking at something in particular. Something definitely caught Beetle's eye, and as you're reading the letter, the contents reveals that Richard actually speaks a certain amount of Empyrean.
Yeah. So the letter.
Key
read-
phrase, certain amount.
Certain amount. Yeah. I have the letter. The letter reads.
Go ahead and read it out for the audience.
Of course.
Really, folks, it's actually a love letter.
It's totally a
Aw.
love letter.
The Beetle.
There it is. Alright. Beetle. I don't know why I know this, but I think Laurelin and Ein are trying to get rid of you. Probably thinking about killing you on the mission. I believe that they will eat you because of how difficult this journey will be. Be careful. Richard Seabreeze.
So you see this expression, Laura.
Beetle, is everything alright?
Dickie here has written me quite an erotic, letter. It's far too raunchy for me to show anybody. It's quite something.
Richard just looks at you.
Oh man.
What the hell?
Insight check.
Oh.
That's a 18 plus,
So
shit,
bad. I failed my deception. I failed so bad.
plus 1.
Yeah, Beetle's definitely lying. As to the reason, probably doesn't want you to know what actually was written to him.
Richard, did you write a letter to Beetle?
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
So you're saying Beetle's lying?
I didn't say that.
Then how does... but Beetle said... You're so bad at this.
You captured Richard perfectly.
Yeah, really.
Was that Richard enough?
It was. Richard, I know that you wrote Beetle a letter. I know that you wrote Beetle a letter. If it's something private, I can completely understand.
Look, you don't need to know what's going on in my personal life when I'm with Beetle. Am I right?
Absolutely right. Sweetheart.
Alright then. Keep your little secrets. I don't particularly care. I was just curious in case that was something from the Maw itself.
Well, we can have a go at you as well if you're interested.
You can what?
Huh? No, I said nothing.
What?
Huh?
We can all something if you're interested. That's what I heard.
I don't think that was actually what he said.
Don't worry about it.
Okay then. Well, you're seeming to be in good health. So I go ahead, lift him up over my head, and drop him.
You drop him.
Yep.
He just says, ow.
Well, let's go. Places to go. And I'll take my backpack from I.
Yeah, I hand you back your backpack.
Is my bow back with me, and my crossbow and my blades?
Is my stick still growing stuff?
Oh, no, it all falls off. It turns into its original form.
I look sad.
What's wrong, Ein?
But you notice that there's a symbol that's actually at the tip of your staff.
Well,
You've seen it before.
Do I recognize it? Like, I've seen it before, like how? Where?
At an altar of a Matarasu.
I look at it. I just kind of like act like I didn't see anything. Like I was just, looking specifically at this fine stick that's lost all of its foliage.
Hey, is something going on over there?
Nope. How do I? You don't even understand what I'm saying, and I don't know what you said.
No, he doesn't know what is being going on. He's easier examining. And he's just going,
what I mean is he said is something going on over there, and I started to respond as if I understood.
Oh.
So I was just like, I just look at him confused.
Ein, is everything alright?
Can't perform. Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, Cody.
So he's just looking at you skeptically.
I go ahead and I look at Laura. I'm like, how much do you know of magic?
Only what I was taught. So not a great deal. I understand the very basic concept and idea behind it, though.
How long have you been in Jewel, or in this land specifically? Specifically.
Let's see, 4 days. Five.
How far have you traveled? Have you
Just
noticed
in
anything?
an Empyrean?
Yeah.
Yes. How far? We started out in Celestia.
Have you seen this symbol anywhere in your travels? And I show the bottom of
I
my
assume we're all
staff.
walking around the
Yes,
Probably.
We're not standing. We're walking around the edge. Have I seen that symbol?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Have I seen that symbol?
No, you have not.
Don't tell either of them. I'm really quite suspicious that Beetle might not be the most trustworthy companion.
I pull out my blade as well, and I tell him in Imperial. I say, I'm going to act like we're discussing that our weapons have come back to normal.
Okay, that works. Though I do wish that it still had that greenery on it. That looked nice.
I want to see if they're talking about eating me.
Okay, insight.
17.
You definitely aren't hearing any congates of the word to eat or to consume.
Okay.
No, it's been a while since we've eaten.
Scratch that.
It's like I don't know that I'm very hungry. I don't know that I'm very hungry right now. I'd rather just keep moving. I don't want to be right next to literal hell. And this symbol, I need to find where this came from. And why? But why would it be in there? There's no way she would be there.
Who's she?
What should be doing? One of my friends. That's the one I'm looking for. But there's no way she would be. The symbol is here now. I'm just kind of like talking to myself and musing, like, but if you see that symbol anywhere, please tell me.
I will. In the meantime, I'm keeping my head on a fucking swivel to see if that army is coming towards us.
Yeah, they are coming, but they're just approaching very slowly. Just kind of like a Walking Dead kind of slowness as they're just sauntering step by step towards you.
Towards us?
Are they on the opposite direction of where we're traveling?
The direction that you're traveling would be north.
Yeah, are they north of us as well, or are they all south
They're
of
all
us?
southeast of you. They went around the mall.
I turn to Ein. We're being followed by some rather slow-looking demons. I suggest we pick up the pace a bit.
I agree. Do we still have the stretcher?
Yes, actually, I had the stretcher. So yes, we do.
Well, let's move quickly, and if anyone feels
Richard
tired,
just goes, it's my turn. It's really my turn.
How can he hear us? We're speaking Imperial. Unless
No, he's speaking
under-
in Celestian, and he saw that you were taking out the stretcher.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, he was the one that was stayed on watch for it.
Ein,
I'll
would you
help.
like to carry the other end?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. I'm gonna say...
Useless right now. I cannot
Beetle?
cast any spells until I get some rest.
Oh, we could snuggle.
And
Technically, you would probably both be too heavy for me and,
For
Yeah,
a
with-
woman and a small child.
But there's also their stuff, and we have to take their stuff into account too.
Yeah.
So, like, even though technically I'm pretty sure Laura and I are the two strongest people in the party,
Yes.
that we still have to take into account their stuff. So, yeah.
Beetle, the most important thing you can do right now is let us know how close they're getting. Because, and I pull set the stretcher down, I say, Richard, get over here.
I can definitely do that. I'm gonna play like slow music.
Slow music.
Yeah.
And the minute Richard gets here, we are taking the fuck off.
Alright, he just hops on, just goes ahead, moves his shirt over his eyes, just... He wakes up for a moment, looks over at you, Beetle. I need some of that fire water.
Ein, you take the front. You know where we're going.
Yeah, the fireworks.
I nod and do so.
I'm feeling pretty great right now, so give me to something about that fire water.
Take a nap.
I hate you.
You love me and you know it.
I'll think about it. goes to sleep.
Obvious rolling. Okay.
And freaked out eyes for a couple of seconds.
What's behind me? I'm gonna look behind me.
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
Then he goes to sleep.
We're putting you in charge of seeing if we're being snuck up by anyone, so I hope you have good perception.
I'm gonna walk backwards and watch the demon army.
As you're playing some music.
Yep, if this gets faster, we have to drop Richard and start fighting.
Make it a poker.
For our lives.
Alrighty, so as you guys continue proceeding forward for a number of hours, this time without Ash. Lord knows where she is. Eventually, night falls.
All over the walls.
Splattered like a tomato.
Laura made it to the 21st century because she went all Wall-E.
It's true. Music's a bit loud.
Yeah, can you turn it down a little bit?
Better?
Yes.
Alrighty. As you guys approach nighttime, the army does stop following. But you see an unnatural fog rolling in while it's dark. You see a moon. It was a new moon the prior night, but it's now full.
Put everything in your ears.
Plug your ears and Beetle, it's your turn. I just gotta point at Beetle and I point at the stretcher because I assume it's been an 8-hour rest so far, probably.
Sweet!
Technically, Beetle should be one
Richard
awake because
rolls
he's
out
the only
of,
one with night vision.
The cot. And
Well, I have. Well, actually, do I have night vision? I'm not sure.
Beetle can
Do you?
see everything that's happening. Beetle has dark vision.
Night vision, I mean dark vision.
Oh, we got going on here.
I actually do not, but either way, yeah,
Unless it's
we
like
need to.
super thick fog. We're all pretty close to each other.
Yes.
Alright, tell me, buddy. What do we got here?
Who's speaking?
He's speaking to Ein, despite knowing the fact that you can't understand.
Richard speaking to you.
Yep.
I just kind of raised my eyebrow and then shrug.
I'm disappointed in you.
Scratch my head.
Insight check. You can tell he's very displeased.
He thought that Ein and I were sleeping together.
We'll
That's
just
statutory
watch.
rape.
Yes.
Not
yes,
here,
yes.
Not
Hey,
in Japan.
14 is legal out in Kentucky.
Not in hentai, it's not.
So, with the cot now made available, does anyone move into it, or...
I'm gonna move into it.
Yeah,
Beetle's
Beetle's-
right now, guys.
So, Richard is now
What?
your eyes.
Oh God, help us.
And we keep moving.
Just to make sure, everyone has something plugging their ears, correct?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Beetle stuffed his ears with eagle fluff.
Richard, do you have fluff?
He takes your fluff.
Out of my
I can
ears?
tell.
Yes.
But Richard has his own fluff.
Yeah, he does.
A real
I
perception
guess-
to see if I notice.
Yes, you notice. It's taken out of your ears.
Oh, while I'm awake? Okay. A little more fluff in my ears.
I pull a little bit of the fur out of my familiar. I just kind of like get loose fur and put it inside its ears.
And poor Pabbo, just yanking. Hey, no.
Not yanking. Well, just the gentle. How you can just grab a little grip of fur and just pull gently, and all the loose fur will come out.
Oh, it's
You
a
know? I
want to
hairy
see this.
dog?
Do it with Yona. We want a proof of this.
She's surprisingly missing. It's almost as if she's psychic.
Yona, insight check. I got 20 for insight when you were talking. It's like, nope.
There's the dog. Anyways, as you go ahead, all stuffing your ears, you do have plenty of fur to spare.
Alright.
That it's easy to lose fluff. And as you start proceeding into the fog and darkness, the moon is heavily dimmed as you're walking through it. Who is the forwardmost person?
That would be
Me,
technically
probably.
mine. Yes.
A perception check. As
Plus
you are
5?
carrying- plus 5?
Mm-hmm.
And you are carrying Beetle on a cot, yeah?
Yes.
So, as you step forward, you find yourself immediately dropping, needing to do a dex save.
Plus 0.
And thing is, as you're holding onto the cot, Beetle, you barely got maybe half an hour of sleep. You find yourself sliding off, and
No, acrobatics.
My hand just grabs Beetle.
you try to grab onto the cot and grab onto Ein.
Yes.
What did you get?
16.
Okay, you managed to hold onto the edge of the cot, and Laura, as you're carrying the actual cot, you find it sliding, and you have two full-bodied people holding at the opposite edge.
Let me see.
I also am making an effort not to, like, yell out or anything.
Mhm.
Like, composure sort of deal.
Beetle was.
As far as you can see, in your suddenly startled awake, you can barely see 2 inches in front of you. You can't even really see Ein, who is right beside with you.
I'm gonna start dragging them back towards me. I can do
Strength
it.
check.
Yep. Strength check.
With the advantage, because Richard runs up naturally trying to help.
First one's a 14. Second one's a natural 20.
Alright, as you are both pulled up, you find both of you on what feels like a cliff face. And you guys almost fell to your certain doom. Possibly. You can't see, so hard to tell.
Oh my god, we could have died.
Just feeling around at the texture, go ahead and do a history check. Ein, go ahead and do an insight check.
Nope.
Plus 3 insight. Plus 3 insight.
Alright, yeah, you both apparently suck.
Alright.
We don't know what's going on.
As far as you can tell with this massive who knows what in front of you, it did not feel like that. Something just collapsed. You just took a step and you fell.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the map. Because I never technically gave it back to Laura.
Yep.
Well, you guys.
Well, he got a 20 strength. He got a 20 strength pulled up, and I'm gonna look and see where on this map any just random cliffs would be. Because I don't recall any. I walk over to Laura and kind of tap Laura's shoulder so not to like voice or anything, and then I point at the map. And then I kind of point and circle the whole area that we should be in, and then I kind of motion I make like a little. Walk, then
This guy's
fall.
talking now.
I mean, I look at the walk, then fall, and then I point at the map. I just kind of a motion like that, and I again fall, map.
Okay, I give the thumbs up, and I go ahead and I put the stretcher we made back on my back, and I take out some rope from my pack. I tie the rope around my waist, and I hand it to Ein. And then I go ahead and motion for him to hind it.
Perception check. It is really foggy.
Okay. That's
No, it'd be for Ein, considering you're.
Plus 5 perception.
All right, you're able to see what he's gesturing. Enough.
Okay.
And I motion
take
for you
the
to
rope.
hand it to everyone.
I hand a piece of the rope to Richard and to Beetle.
And I will start walking along the edge using my sword to go ahead and see where the edge is and stepping carefully.
Alright. The edge is curved and jagged in a seemingly random fashion.
Mhm.
And it doesn't seem like it's going downhill in any regards. And as you are leading people across, are you heading east or west?
Let me see what we would head.
East would take you closer to a massive lake. Heading westward
Yes.
would take you to a village.
Let's- A known village. I go ahead and I'm going to stop for a second, holding my arm out so that when Ein touches it, he'd know immediately.
Okay.
And I'll take a step back and I'll motion like this for the map and direction with my fingers.
I bring out the map.
And I go ahead and I point towards the village and I point towards the lake, and then I make kind of a question mark with my fingers.
What do I know of the village and the lake? Which is more likely to be a safe haven?
The lake has a lot of unknown beasts that Jewel is even terrified to study because water is scary. And the village is a fortified town. It's ran by a very old man who basically keeps watch. Basically, anyone who could leave has left long ago, but it is of no military asset value to anyone, so it might be the reason they haven't been purged. No one knows why they haven't been purged.
I point at the village.
And you nod?
Yeah, I point at the village and nod.
Okay, it's west we're going then.
Alright.
And continue holding the rope.
Feel around for Richard while this is going on.
He goes ahead and just swats at your hand as you touch him.
Okay. Cool. Cool, it's Richard. I'm gonna... Is he wearing any of the clothing the people gave him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now he's wearing, like, actual clothes.
Wait, that's an interesting question. Everything that was in there is different, but the clothes are the same?
Yep.
Are the rations still there? That's another question.
The rations are still there.
That means I still have my hunk of cheese. Sweet.
You have cheese that you've neglected to eat fully.
Hell, you have hell cheese.
I do have hell cheese.
Do take a second look at your hell cheese.
I'm gonna take a second look at my hell cheese.
As you look at your hell cheese, you realize that it's very foggy and dark.
With my hand.
You feel that it is moldy.
Oh no! Is it blue cheese? Can I take a sip of it?
You can try.
I'm gonna smell it.
Roll a d20.
8.
It probably is blue cheese. Maybe.
I'm gonna lick it.
Alright, no one can see you doing this. So as you lick it, you taste blue cheese.
I taste blue cheese?
Probably. And it just like came off like licking up like
Oh, that's not blue
licking
cheese.
up
That's not blue
peanut
cheese.
butter, but the taste is like blue cheese.
Oh no, it's
Maybe.
bad. It's cold. And then I just yeet it over the edge of wherever I came from.
Okay, so do you throw it over the cliff
Over
face?
the cliff face, yes.
Alright, everyone roll perception.
Oh Jesus, no. That's a 3 plus 2. That ain't gonna help me.
I have +5 perception.
3 plus 3
Also,
so 6.
roll with disadvantage considering...
We're deaf and blind. Yeah, the first one was
What
worse.
did you get?
Oh, what did I got? I got it.
With disadvantage.
Oh,
And what did I get?
11.
4.
And that's +5, so
I know.
16, right?
No,
I got
that
6.
is 11 is
Okay.
with your +5.
Alright. Also remember though,
You are
and,
legally blind.
also remember for detecting things that are like trying to stealth or just that are there, that's passive perception. So technically it would be a base 15 for me. Unless I'm actively trying to perceive something, you go for passive perception.
Well, what's going on here is the fact that you are very blind, courtesy of the fog, and very deaf.
Makes sense.
Anyways,
What does it?
you could have swore that you heard a thunk.
So it's not that far down.
You didn't hear shit.
I know I didn't hear shit.
I look towards the sound of thunk.
It would be in the crack in the ground.
I
Like I said, it's Cliff.
kind of like pause for
Cliff.
Well, hello, dog.
Crack. You're blind. What do you know? It's just... All you know is it might not be as deep.
I look over towards where I heard that thunk, and I try and I'm gonna pick up a small rock and toss it in that general area.
You hear a bloop.
A bloop.
I hate when I hear boobs randomly. Oh,
Like the sound of something hitting. That sounds not even like water. That's like hitting oil or ooze.
yeah. Why are we throwing bad things down into the evil crag we can't see? I'm not sure this is a good idea.
Throw something else down there.
Throw Richard down there. No,
I also want to point out that apparently the ear fluff is not a very good idea because
It's not worth
I
it.
heard a thunk and I heard a bloop, but I'm supposed to be deaf completely, so I think I need to readjust my ear fluff.
Pull out
that's
some
also
earplugs
true.
from Yona.
So yeah, I
Have you start
readjust.
readjusting?
Yes, I readjust the ear fluff.
I'd like
As
to
you
say
start
no one
trying
has
to
pulled on the
readjust,
rope.
You start hearing songs. A very soft, feminine voice is singing about a lost love.
Don't do it again.
Plug it, both fit just like plug, shove, 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 morpher,
The
morpher.
dog is panicked as you just
Yes.
rip it out.
You pulled it out of your familiar.
Did you put any fluff in the familiar's ears?
Yes, I specifically stated that I did that originally.
Good.
Just something to note real fast. If no one has pulled on the rope to tell me to stop, I'm still leading us, so I'm keeping on going because I don't know anything's going on.
I poke you in the back, and in a motion of pushing you forward slightly, move forward, forward, forward.
I start moving quicker, trying to watch my footing as
Feel
best I
the entire rope line dragging you
Alright, I'm
faster.
just gonna keep going. I'm gonna follow. I don't really.
Alrighty. As you guys are being dragged along, you find yourselves coming out of the fog. It's now morning, and the two of you haven't taken any rest in the last day, and then some. Couple days. So both of you roll for exhaustion checks.
I have -1 to my constitution.
I have plus nothing to my constitution. That is a 13 plus 2, actually.
Alrighty. Ein,
15.
you take 1 point of exhaustion.
Okay.
No,
And,
Ein was the first one to rest, so Ein technically had an 8-hour rest. Then we went to the...
no. Yeah.
No, that was not.
Oh, was that part?
That was on the stretcher.
Yeah, Ein was on the stretcher at first.
still been a day though of no sleep.
That's last night.
No, you guys.
Yeah,
were
we didn't
traveling
really
through
have-
the night in the fog.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So poor Ein, tired. Laura somehow soldiering on despite it all.
I have a mission, I'm going to get there.
You got a very short 30-minute nap, basically. So roll for exhaustion as well.
Kind of a short rest thing.
It's a 9.
with your constitution.
I don't have anything in my constitution.
Take a point of exhaustion. And as you guys emerge from the fog, a little more tired, poor Richard. He also takes a point of constitution, point of exhaustion.
Didn't he? What?
Yeah, he
Richard.
Whole constitution
Yeah, Richard.
goes up by 1 point.
Because
Richard
apparently
doesn't-
he's just soldiering on, and he did so well.
No,
Constitution.
Richard.
No, Richard doesn't.
rested.
He did
Yeah,
so well with
Richard.
us.
Richard got a full rest less than 24 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
Richard rested through the day, and then had to walk through the night.
Yeah.
He didn't.
So he's still fine.
He'd still be
He
fine.
slept.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Richard.
it'd be about 16 more hours.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
This is true. This is true. Anyways, as you go ahead and are coming out of the fog, you find yourselves in a familiar environment. It's like you entered in one place and came out in the exact same place.
Wait, what kind of familiar?
Familiar as in this is where you guys entered before.
Entered before? What do you
We
mean?
walk around the fog,
Elaborate.
Where we
The
came
walk-
in.
Yep, almost the exact same spot. You see even your footsteps unperturbed
Is the crag
I'm
still
gonna take
there?
Ear fluff out
this morning.
and motion to everybody to do the same.
I take out the ear fluff. So are we at the crack? Like, I don't understand what
No.
he means by enter. We didn't enter anything.
We came back out where we went into the fog.
Huh.
Ah, okay.
And
Magical fog.
yes.
Those footprints look like mine.
Yes, I recognize those boot prints anywhere as my own.
I have an
I go.
idea.
I point at Beetle and point at the stretcher.
It's a good point.
Okay.
If we go back into this fog, Laura, what if one of us kept, like a stick or a sword, I don't know, something along the edge of the cliff face, so that we could continue walking along it?
That's exactly what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But if we went, is the fog still there?
Mm-hmm. But the cut in the cliff is gone.
Oh god, we're gonna have to go around the fog.
From what you can tell. It just seemed to have come to a sudden end as the fog was starting to dissipate.
And there's no village
So-
here?
No village.
So the fog, though, you said the fog started to dissipate. So is the fog gone or it's still there?
Oh,
Did
it's
it
still there.
dissipate?
You see it still in the air, in the distance, but you are out of the fog.
I pull out the map and I go ahead and look at where we should be on the map right now if we had just entered the fog effectively.
You are not too far north of the Helltown that you came from.
Mm-hmm.
And despite that, you see the familiar footprints of everyone else. It would be about a couple days southeast directly of the village, but your sense of direction is developed enough to know for sure
Uh-huh.
that you should be in the village.
So we should be in the village right now,
Should.
but we're not.
Correct.
Well, then that tells me I go ahead and actually mark, like on the map, our current location in a piece of charcoal pencil, so I can erase it. There's a question mark and like a mark for fog, and then the edge of the village that we're supposed to be that we were supposed to go to, a question mark and an X for fog, and then
What if we went in and we went the opposite way? Do you think we would end up here again?
I think we should completely avoid the fog.
I pointed at Laura. We haven't picked up the thing yet. I pointed where we are right now, where we should be, Or where we should be if we went to the village and I just kind of motion for us to go the long way around and try and follow a long path to get to that same village and see if we can just like go around the fog. So I just say that. I'm like, we should try and go around the fog, see if we can get to that village. Because this is where we're supposed to be, but this is where we're at. So let's see if we can avoid the fog and get to where we should be.
I'm coiling my rope back up as he's saying this, and I go, that's an agreeable idea. I think we need to avoid the fog as much as possible.
If for no reason other than wasting, then we don't want to waste time.
Yes, whose turn is it to be on the stretcher?
Beetle never actually got to finish his rest, so I think that it should be his turn.
Richard, would you mind going ahead and carrying the other half of the stretcher while Ein leads us?
Oh, yeah. I totally got it.
Thank you.
I nod and I just pull out the map and I wait for them to get everything organized.
I can
On the
just...
stretcher and try to get back to sleep. It's
Yep.
Alright. As you guys are examining the maps, getting ready to take a nap, and go ahead and try to form a strategy to get out of here, we're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. So, with that... We are back with Beetle's Buggy Buddies. We're going to have a new name next week, so please bear with us.
It's a real honker.
1 second, I need to fix something. And now fixed. So, there we go. It was an honest mistake on my side. I forgot to load up the right one.
Are we streaming right now?
Yes,
Yes.
we
What
are.
happened?
We're back.
Back with Beetle's Buggy Buddies.
Well, we'll have another name next week. We're going to try a few names out, so if you have an idea of what to call us, do let us know.
Please leave a comment. We want to hear them.
Himmler's
Preferably
after
nice
that.
comments, though.
Well, it's okay if they hate on Jacob. That's fine.
If you leave
That's
mean
fine.
comments, make sure that they're mean enough that I can use them for my vicious mockery.
See, that too. Like,
That is acceptable.
Yeah.
make them mean enough that they're
Your
inspirational.
worst.
Richard's become a
Not
cat.
against me.
Sure, go. Let's go ahead and just make fun of the DM, because that's what
Yes.
everyone tries to do when we're not streaming.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
So, with that, as everyone tries to contribute to the DM's need for drinking, not really. Everyone's a delight. Anyways,
I'm not trying hard enough.
Beetle is taking a nice rest as you guys being Richard, Laura, and Ein, looking over the maps and plans.
Well, I assumed that because we're not supposed to really stop at all, I assumed I'm going over the map while
Richard and I are
Beetle is getting into the stretcher, then Richard and Laura are lifting the stretcher, and then I'm leading while looking at the map, trying to plot us a proper new course around the fog, but to the village. Like, assuming because my little hypothesis thing here is that I'm running with is that if we should have exited at the village, but we exited exactly where we started, then this fog probably goes all the way to the village, at the very least. So I'm trying to outskirt the fog towards the village and hopefully come out where we originally intended to.
Well, remember, we don't particularly care about the village. We're just trying to get around.
The reason I'm specifying the village is because it's a notable landmark. It's a particular thing of note on the map to aim for, and we also know that the village should be safe. So it's not that the village is, important for us to go to, but it's a solid landmark to gun for that we were already kind of aiming for to begin with. So that's why I'm focusing on that.
Alrighty, so you guys are charting around the fog, and It'll be at least a day and a half before you hit the mountain face, and which you do remember the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go around them. And through the day, after a good 8 hours, you do wake up pretty refreshed.
Sweet.
Do you just sleep there, or do you...
I'm gonna get out of the stretcher. I'm gonna be like, hey guys, I'm awake.
Hein, I think it's your turn.
I nod and I hand you the map.
I believe it's your turn. Don't you need some sleep as well?
I'm fine for the time being. I'll get some rest after Hein's rested, and I think I need to roll another thing for exhaustion.
It's not
It would
every
be
8
once per day.
hours. Yeah, once
it's
per
once
day.
per
So
day.
it's only been
Okay.
8 hours.
Okay, I'm good.
I hand you the map, Laura, and I just say, I don't trust the map in Beetle's hands.
Okay, well, I know the approximate direction we're headed, so I'll just keep on that course.
Well, I just hand you the map, so.
Are they talking about eating me?
We're gonna have to stop for food at some point.
If
We
it
can
falls
eat
off,
while
it's
walking.
counted as a 1.
Alright, well,
I mean, we can eat while walking.
My hands are full with his stretcher.
that's gonna be a 10.
You can always, like, balance it between your hand and, like, your side, you know? Like you're driving while eating a hamburger. You guys gotta be like,
As you're, like, trying to listen in, Richard actually nudges you a little bit and just tries to pass you a paper on the sly. Laura, you can make a perception with disadvantage,
Okay.
since your focus is elsewhere.
Oh, god damn it, that was so nice, but it wasn't. That's a 7 plus 3.
Alright, it was slipped over to you. It was just it's just jotted notes.
Just jotting out symbols.
Really don't care.
Fake combo, eat time, she's in hell, don't say. Okay. I'm gonna eat it.
You eat the
you're
note.
gonna eat it.
Okay, you
I shoved the whole thing in my mouth.
Constitution check with advantage. I mean, saving throw.
19.
You manage to just start biting into it and just your mouth just immediately starts salivating as your stomach rumbles as it just goes straight down your throat. And you kind of hear a gulp, Laura.
Yeah, it's a good idea to eat while we still have time, but we have to keep going. Let's go.
As I'm relaxing on the stretcher, I just grab some of the jerky. I'm just eating while on the stretcher before going to sleep.
I'm gonna eat
Unfortunately-
the rations that Ian made me, as
Okay.
well as the piece of paper.
Alrighty, roll a d20.
7.
Oh dear.
Okay, you don't get the benefits. But you are
I
welcome.
thought, didn't it 17? Like,
He said 7.
oh, I thought it said 17. Okay.
Yep.
Well, already his exhaustion is gone anyway because he got a long rest. So the one level of exhaustion would be
I'm
gone.
not eating any of the blood bags, which, by the way, I'm still carrying that.
I am imagining that you guys are sometimes touching into it
No,
as late
I
as
have.
possible.
We have 40 days worth of rations each, which
Well, we
aren't
don't have
based on-
40 days worth of water.
No, we don't. That's the problem.
Water's heavy.
So is blood.
Blood is reliable.
Yeah.
So, as you guys keep going forward towards the mountains, you do come up to this major landmark. You see that the mountains seem like that they've been physically carved to have a number of people. They are the mountains with them carved. The figures are about 150 feet tall, just full-figured people, to the point of even getting their toenails in if they happen to be wearing sandals.
That's amazing!
There
I'm
are,
going.
there's a lot of, at the top of it, a lot of green muck that seems to be painted over it, but you can still see the features.
Does Beetle know what this is?
You recognize one of them, and he is the founder of Jewel. When the apocalypse began.
This is so cool! I've only heard stories of this! This is awesome!
What is this?
Well, you see, there was an apocalypse once upon a time ago, and that guy there, when I pointed to the, he was the founder of Jewel.
And who are the rest of these people?
Oh, hell if I know.
When was
I
Jewel
just recognize
founded?
him because there's plenty of paintings and statues. of
Everyone
him.
do a history check.
Oh dear.
Nat 20.
Hold on.
You do remember back in your school days that a lot of cultures inside of this land frequently would build a single person or a monument to a person. Doesn't necessarily have to be a person. That is supposed to be representative of something important to the core of the identity of the region.
And 17 plus 2 for me, so 19.
It looks like, though, each of these people that have been built, some are more weather-worn and older than even the current age, or the last 5 ages, it seems.
How new is the founder of Jewel?
Hmm?
Is the founder of Jewel the newest?
By far the newest, the most detailed,
Okay.
and the least corroded. Interestingly, there are a couple of tiefling figures carved into the mountains.
Since I rolled a nat 20, do I recognize any of the tieflings?
You do recognize one, and she is a Game Papa.
Game Papa?
A Game Papa.
How do I spell that?
Aganepaba. Allegedly, she used to be a princess who actually united the region before bringing it into Celestia. Through diplomatic means. The
That's
warrior
really cool.
princess.
That's really cool. Okay. I'm gonna tell him about this. I'm asleep. So, I can't. I'm gonna tell Richard and Laura about this. But, so she used to be this really sick, awesome battle princess. And she, through diplomacy, united several of the regions around here.
Very interesting. How long have we been walking?
Hours?
Talking or walking?
Walking.
Walking, I'm talking.
Definitely hours. Several hours.
Okay. I'm going to then interrupt Ein's sleep real fast, because this is important.
You're like stir, like what? What's up?
I just need you to answer a question. Have you ever seen this before?
I look. Have I?
Oh yeah, you've seen it before. Though there is one new statue.
There's a new statue.
Mm-hmm.
Who? What's the new one?
Well, as you look at it, you don't really recognize the person at all.
Like how new? Like last 8 months new?
Like last few months.
Like that one wasn't there 8 months ago.
Which one is he pointing to?
The founder.
A jewel?
That one is the founder of Jewel.
That one wasn't there 8 months ago.
Look at Beetle. Hmm?
I swear Jewel was not built in a day.
Okay. Thank you, Ein. Then we continue down this path, correct, to get to the village?
Just heading.
I look. Are we going the right way now then?
Oh yeah, just due north.
So we've gone far enough east, was it? So now we can start cutting north? Or enough, yeah, far enough west we can go. I nod.
Okay,
the
thank you.
fancy
I'll get some rest.
fancy
You're
blood
welcome.
sword.
Okay.
I go back to sleep.
To do some attunement to figure out exactly what it is, or like what it does.
All right. Beat 25.
Wait, you say D25?
Beat 25.
Oh, I have to beat 25? Okay. How many rolls do I get to try?
1.
I get 1. That's my plus Arcana. I wouldn't be able to do it even with a nat 20. So,
Are you getting that 20?
nope, that's a 2.
Well, it's
No
part of
information, sometimes better than bad information. So, you're just examining the blade, and as you're just looking it over, you just hear it almost beckoning to you, as if a friend is calling to you across a massive void. There's no echo, it's just barely a voice on the wind
Weird.
as you're just examining it.
I'm going. I assume me and Richard are still moving north.
Oh, I thought we were walking
Oh
the
no,
whole time.
you
Yeah,
guys
we're
are.
walking.
Yeah,
Yeah, just making sure.
continue. I'm just like behind all of you, like flipping this knife around and like examining it.
And it's been about 8 hours.
Okay. So I'd probably wake up after a good long rest, exhaustion gone, stretch a little bit. Laura, would you like your turn?
I think that would be a good idea, yes. And I'll sit down on the stretcher, grab a small thing to eat, then get some rest.
Yep, so we just swap positions. I go ahead and take over from where Laura was carrying.
Alright.
And occasionally just kind of call out orders to Richard to go a little that way or a little that way or whatnot, keep us going the right direction.
Okay. So, as you guys push forward, as Laura finally takes a rest and has a meal, fighting the need for exhaustion, you lose your exhaustion point. Fine.
Yep, already removed it. I actually
Okay.
stated that prior.
So, it's still a nightfall approaches again, but you do arrive what looks like to be a very darkened village. You see walls made out of cobblestone. The cobblestone looks aged and weathered, as if it's been battered over centuries, and it's broken down and collapsed in a number of areas. There's a number of watchtowers that are half collapsed, and there are a number of houses that seem to have a cobblestone structure built against wooden frames. Half of their roofs are missing. Don't really see anybody or anything outside.
Hey Laura, is this Llewellyn?
Wake me up if you need me.
Richard, is this supposed to be Llewellyn?
I don't think so. It's supposed to be a city under siege, no?
Yeah, this looks pretty under siege to me. All the roofs are gone. Are you sure you don't speak any Imperial? There's no way that I can speak to Ein.
I got a question for you. Did you learn some
How
lessons?
much of... I look at him and
Nah,
try and hand
you're on
him a
your own.
tissue. I hand him a piece of cloth.
You see Beetle pulling out a knife.
And I'm gonna slice my own finger open with it.
Like as Beetle's pulling out a knife, I reach for my stick. Look like I'm gonna have to defend myself.
And I'm just gonna like poke my hand
All right. As you poke your hand,
to
you.
get some blood on the knife to see what it does.
All right. The blade doesn't respond to the blood, but you see that on the blade, it just glides down quickly. As in, like on steel blades, it'll cling onto it and grip,
No, it's like oil and
Oil
water.
and water? Ooh.
It's just sliding down and off.
Everyone knows to feed your own blood to a demon blade. Duh.
Roll a d20 wisdom check. Saving throw.
Do I get to add my wisdom modifier to it?
Hmm?
Do I add my wisdom modifier to it?
If it's a saving
You're
throw.
it's a saving throw.
Oh, 14.
Okay.
I'm still sleeping.
Yo. I'm keeping my eye on like Mr. Blood Sacrifice ritual while we're there, while
And I'm gonna
continuing
try
to
and
move
talk.
forward.
All
And I'm
right.
gonna try to talk to him.
How do you try to talk to him?
And I'm going to attempt to speak Empyrean again.
All right. Roll a d20. Intelligence.
D20 plus intelligence modifier?
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be 15.
All right. You think you may know a few words or phrases. Very simple. You've picked up a few patterns.
Okay, okay.
Usually just very direct things.
I'm gonna say talk knife.
Talk knife? Do I understand that?
It's more like
talk knife city
blade.
back.
Sounds like a challenge. Speak with your knives.
I know, that's what I'm
Roll a,
thinking. Like,
wisdom check for you.
who, me?
Yeah.
Roll a talking knife.
Wisdom check or wisdom save?
Check.
Check.
+3.
All right. You realize very quickly that Beetle is fucking up the conjugation hard. It's like, what did you say?
I said talk knife city back.
Translates more as the knife is talking back to the city.
I'm gonna try speaking in Celestian, I guess. So intelligence.
Intelligence.
Check. +1.
All right. What do you say?
There is no intelligence.
I don't even know what I rolled. I try and say, what are you saying? Is the knife talking to you now?
Are you putting the blade into you now?
No!
Just kick me.
Me talk back city knife.
Julie, talk back, city knife! City knife, now! City knife!
So it translates as UI talks knife city.
Vine.
Trying. Are you asking me to throw down?
This is going to be an epic rap battle.
Throw. We gonna fight.
No!
Wake me up.
You need past talk. Knife talk.
What I get from that?
You may or may not be threatened at this point.
No!
What sounds like.
Knife talk me you.
The panic is starting to see like their solution is putting a sword through himself into you. In the city.
I just grabbed my stick, and I'm just like, I'm not afraid to defend myself.
He's talking about a sacrifice of you to the city. That's how we'll get in.
And I'm saying this, I'm trying to say this in Celestian, too.
So what did you say?
I'm not afraid to defend myself.
I'm afraid to fight you. And so as you
I'm
say,
gonna say that in Celestian.
you understood. Let's do it.
No!
My words. I just like look back in horror.
Stop taking off pants.
Laura, you're kind of woken up because of the panicked talking back and forth. You're catching the conversation and realizing they're both butchering each other's language.
So badly.
I slowly get up. You two are very confused, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
I think that this night is the reason that me and I had a moment of clarity in hell. And I was trying to see if poking myself with it might unlock some sort of language power that I might be able to speak to Ein about.
Did it work?
Do you translate this for me or no?
Not yet. I want to get the information before I go
Alright.
on. Did it work?
No. But I think he wants to fight me?
And you
No,
kind of
I-
get the gist of what was said.
Beetle appears to be of the idea that this knife he has will allow him to go ahead and understand languages, perhaps? Well, it was a hope, because apparently you could understand each other in the Maw.
I just shake my head.
Religion check. What's your religion?
+1.
You do know that when you're between realms, weird things start happening, unexplainable things, and weird powers are granted, sometimes temporarily, to even material beings.
I say, when we're between realms, weird things happen. Most likely, that's one of the things. We were given the ability to understand each other's languages. Under no circumstance, however, did I ever imagine it was a good idea to sacrifice your own blood to a sword from hell so you could talk to someone.
I put my hand on Ein's shoulder and say, Ein, this is Beetle we're talking about. He's an idiot.
Hold on. Intelligence check.
This is why I'm suspicious. Like, I think that Beetle's trying to kill us or something. Trying to invoke blood
You do
magic.
catch, this is Ein we're talking about.
Beetle is
I
an
mean, this
idiot.
is Beetle we're talking about from Laura.
Excuse you?
It's like, Beetle is trying to, Beetle tried to pull us into that place in the first place. The whole reason we were there was because of Beetle, and then now Beetle's sacrificing his blood to a demon weapon. Like, this is...
You got a 1?
Yeah, no.
They're
I'm-
talking about how to punish.
Ein, you have to
It
remember,
is your fault.
Beetle is not the brightest torch on the wall.
Hey, you don't have to torch me.
You don't have to torch me! Nice! Brilliant.
I didn't realize that it was going to be a portal to hell.
I look around real fast and
And I
go,
don't want to cause any serious trouble that's going to get us killed. I am a being that
I put a hand up.
lives.
Beetle. Speaking of torches, here we are,
Furthermore,
in front of a wall, with no torches. What is this place?
that's what I was trying to ask
Ein, what is this place?
This is the village that's supposed to still be safe. I don't think it is. We shouldn't enter here. We should keep walking.
He says this is the village that is supposed to have been safe, but it does not appear to still be safe, and that we should keep walking.
It is nighttime.
Does anyone disagree with this idea?
I don't disagree with the idea, but I think that if we were to stay upon the outskirts of the village and sneak around, we might be able to gain some information that could lead us to what's happening with Lulin.
Or it could be a hive of stalkers.
It could be
We're not
Lulin
sure.
stalkers. What do
It's
you
better to avoid
That
it.
panic, that moment of panic touch in Beetle's voice.
You know?
We could
I've
steal
played enough
things.
Stalker to know where this is going.
I like the way you think. Let's go.
Let's
Wait,
get out of
what?
here.
Maybe they got a chicken.
Oh yeah, we do still have the chicken.
Richard?
No, you
No.
don't.
Oh, we don't? Why don't we
No.
have chicken anymore?
It was part
Richard,
of
we are not going in there.
We had the chicken after we left, though.
It
It disappeared.
disappeared the same way that your blade was exaggerated till it faded away.
Oh, okay. Sad. I was gonna suggest that we throw the chicken into the village.
It became Richard's
Wow!
penis, so
Something
it had a
happens
cough.
to the chicken because it's just chicken.
No, we are not staying here. We are going around and we are leaving.
Do I have that spell?
And I say that in both Celestia and Imperia.
Okay,
I nod. I
You're
fully
looking up
agree with you
spells.
on that.
And speaking of which, it is nighttime. Let's
You're
put the
looking
stuff in
up
our ears.
spells! How many times does it have to be said? Don't use French.
Let's go. We are not staying here. We are putting stuff in our ears and we are leaving.
So you just
Yeah.
avoid the village.
Yeah,
Yes.
I put stuff in my ears, and how much of Laura's rest has she gotten?
If there's anything there.
Alright, so as you are
So they're
going...
gonna go far away from the edge of the village. I'm gonna walk along the edge of the village.
Alright, so you just stay kind of by the wall or far away from the wall.
Sneaky by the wall.
Alright, as you're walking around, you see Beetle going off closer to the village. Not that hard. And the darkness isn't as bad, but despite the fact that last night was a full moon, you see that it is adopted the original new moon, but a little more of a crescent. It's starting to fill out. And as you guys are walking around, you see it's much brighter for you. But you see just flickering inside of one of the watchtowers that is collapsed. You all see this.
I'm ignoring it.
I have stuff in my ears, I see it, and I just turn, look at the people there and go, no, no.
Laura wouldn't see it, because isn't it still technically your time to sleep? So you'd be asleep with stuff in your ears, wouldn't you?
Am I sleeping still?
Did you go back to sleep after having the conversation about not to go in the village?
I have no idea how long the rest was that I'd taken so far.
It was a half rest.
Okay, then I'll go back to sleep and get a full one.
I'm just making sure to lead the stretcher away. I'm not
Richard
taking
is
any
helping.
interest
He's
in
gonna
it.
go
Yeah.
back to the group. Question answered.
We can't hear anything. We have lint in our ears.
Yeah, we have lint in our ears and we're walking away.
I found the stuff that went back in my ears. Just,
Naturally.
yeah, because I took it out earlier. Yep, I'm gonna go back to the group.
Alright, so as you get back to the group, you see Richard and I still carrying Laura, taking their time. Ines, obviously you can still see the
In the
fire.
watchtower? There's a fire in the watchtower. I think there may be someone still alive.
None of us can hear you.
And
I also make
can't
sure to put
understand
fluff. Yeah, so none of us can hear you and I can't understand you.
And I'm asleep.
I-
I'm gonna
Richard.
mime this to Richard. Performance. That's
Also, there's fluff in my dog's ears too.
Can your dog understand it?
5.
What do you do?
I'm gonna mime, person alive. Spoiler.
He immediately drops Laura. And you just see him starting to walk towards the wall.
He had the back of the thing, so I literally roll backwards on my head into the dirt.
Just a sudden drop.
I just turn around and I smack Richard with the stick.
Oh,
How dead asleep is Laura? Is Laura asleep?
Laura is very awake now.
Oh no.
So you smack him in the back of the head, inflicting a little bit of damage.
It's just like a D2 non-lethal. That's what I've got on it because it is just a stick.
Yeah, it doesn't even do any damage. It's just he looks back, going, gestures and just says, "Person."
I point in the direction we were going.
He
I,
points to the village.
I brandish the stick threateningly,
He
I get
points
to my
the
knees.
village,
And
non-threateningly.
and I point that we could. I point in the direction we were originally going, and I keep brandishing the stick.
He keeps brandishing his finger, non-threateningly, pointing to the village.
I whap his finger. I'm gonna be like a teacher here. Like, bad. No, you get the
He raises his
ruler.
hand and just gestures to you, Beetle.
And I'm pointing forward, and I like do the whole like I'm watching you thing with my hands to Beetle.
I take the lint out of one of my ears
Go.
and go, what's wrong here?
Laura.
What's wrong here?
What?
What exactly is wrong here?
We can't hear you talking. None of us can
We're
hear.
not talking.
I thought Richard took his out of his ears.
Richard is just gesturing. Very aggressively.
Also gesturing very aggressively. No.
I go up to both of you and
not
just rip the
go
lint
to
out of your
one
ears.
person in the tower might be stabby person.
I just go up to both Beetle and Richard and take the stuff out of their ears and go, what is going on?
Well, you see, what Beetle has gone ahead and told me is that there's a person in there, and there was some discussion about stealing things. So if there's people, that means there's things.
Or it could be a monster, or it could be a signal they're using. These demons have been here for a while. I'm quite sure they understand how humans,
Look.
elves, and the rest of us work.
You need to understand, we've only been to hell, and on top of that, the most dangerous thing next to that are trees.
Or stalkers, or any number of giant demonic beings who
Oh,
might
it was
exist
one
within
time.
this realm. And orcs, and...
Oh, that's just racist right there.
Okay, Richard, are you gonna make me do this? We're not staying here.
Eating people and calling people blood bags. You can't just be rude and be like, oh, they're orcs. They must be big and scary. I mean, Calhoun was in hell, but all that she was interested in was money, not about killing people.
Oh, yeah, what Beetle see it. And
I take off my backpack, drop it on the ground, say, Ein, take this. I put the fluff in both of their ears.
I still have fluff in my
as you
ears,
go
so
ahead
I
and
point
as you are
towards.
dropping things, you
grab
see a torch in the distance and a figure. It doesn't look cloaked, but you see the figure approaching. The torch is a little bit away.
See? Alive person.
and I just go ahead and I look at you and I acknowledge that you're making noises. I can't say I'm watching you, like, and I just point in the direction we're supposed to go.
Laura, do you still have fluff?
I have fluff in one of my ears, but not the other.
See what I mean? Would a monster carry a torch? Would they?
Quite possibly, if they're a vampire or something of the like.
Oh, a vampire. They don't exist.
The master of the mages call it is a vampire.
The person who sent you on this mission is a vampire.
Oh, are they?
Yes!
They are.
Yes!
You were sent on a mission by a child.
A vampire child, remember?
Who's the head of the
I wasn't there
mages?
for that.
You were.
And he was
Yes, you
very
were.
blunt about it.
You introduced them. You want to redo that? You want to redo that?
Vampires don't exist.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
I forgot they were a vampire.
I point to Ein, I point to my bag on the ground, I turn to Richard, I shove the fluff back in his ear, I toss the other fluff back to Beetle, I grab Richard by the arm, throw him over my shoulder, and start walking.
What?
We aren't doing this. We are not staying here.
They're determined not to stay here. I am gonna try to squint my eyes and see if I can make out what it is.
All right. Roll with perception.
Nope.
I've picked up the bag and grabbed the stretcher and just put them both over my shoulder.
All right. So you just start aggressively walking away from these this figure.
Yes.
Yep.
We're continuing towards Lolan.
I'm gonna walk away from the figure and walk with them.
I was not hired to deal with this. I wasn't even paid. I can't even say I wasn't paid enough for this crap, because I wasn't paid to begin with.
I'm just mumbling to myself as I'm going around. I just wanted to
All I
get
have
some
to
sleep.
say.
I wanted to
He's
rest.
Empyrean. Money isn't a concern of Imperia.
Oh, it's stupid.
No, they're not materialists.
We call them communists. No, I'm not
Anyways.
doing. I'm just walking away. I'm mumbling, saying I just wanted to get some sleep, but no, I couldn't have that. Now I'm here. What went
Alrighty.
wrong?
After a couple of minutes of you guys just walking away, person seems to stop with the torch, if it is a person. You see the torch just turn around, and the figure just starts walking away.
Good.
Fine.
Beetle's just talking to himself. As he walks along with him.
Arcana check.
Okay, I have +3 Arcana.
Alright. You know that there are supposed to be significantly a lot more life and death terrors. And there is something that is completely off by the sheer fact that it's the few days that you've been out here, you've only... Yeah, sure, you ran into hell. Sure, you ran into a mysterious fog and a weird vacant village, but nothing has come after you.
Well,
And
aside
you
from
remember
stalkers
every-
before we ever actually entered this section, it was almost more dangerous before we entered this region than upon entering it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to be taking note of that, but I'm not going to speak of it till morning, so...
Couldn't hear you anyway.
Any other details that I might be picking up on?
Every single moment since you've gotten here was in constant moments of life and death. Everything that was anything just went after you, but there's just nothing that seems to be looming around. There's just no existential threat.
And that fog, that fog was not there when I first came here, right?
Correct.
When we actually reached the village, was the fog still visible to us? Just, were we skirting the edge of the fog, or was the fog just mysteriously gone, just not even
The fog
there?
is still there.
Okay, so then my original guess was mostly correct. That the fog actually reaches where we entered and goes almost to the village, almost like a round cloud, and then why we should have exited at the village and why we went back are basically kind of like teleportation deal. But so this fog cloud does reach both our entrance point and the village.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm gonna, as we've been going on the map, then I'm marking the border of this fog cloud.
Okay.
But I guess I'm gonna do an Arcana on my just musings of how the fog cloud may have worked, and to see if I can make a connection to that weird fog cloud and what's been going on out here.
It is said in scripture that there are many manifestations when new planes try to interact with the material. And sometimes it will come in the form of growths, sometimes it will emerge from oceans, sometimes it'll crash onto the world, sometimes it will just try to come into this world forcefully, releasing hellish gases.
So that fog might have been hellish gases, and that crack was literally a split that was, ripped open.
It may have been a failed attempt to come into this world, and you're looking at the after effects.
Okay, I will be taking note of that and telling that to Laura in the
We
morning.
could light it on fire.
9! Everything!
Okay. Hi, Pyro Beetle.
Alright, so I guess we're continuing on through the night.
Alrighty.
My sleep.
As you keep pushing yourself north, you find what looks like to be a small battlefield. Looks rather recent, and you only see skeletons littering the ground with a few zombie-like figures. But what you notice is that a lot of the flesh on the zombies, it looked like it was ripped off of another living being and grafted onto these zombies.
Ooh, flailed ones.
Is it daytime?
Hmm?
Is it daytime or nighttime still?
It's approaching morning.
Approaching morning?
Also, I've been occasionally grabbing my stick and looking at the rune on the base of it and seeing if I can sense anything from it, hear any voice from it, or get any vibe or anything from it at all.
No, it's just carved in there.
Okay. I tried touching the rune to my bracelet. See if that does anything.
Nothing.
All right.
Are the zombies just like, are they laying there? Are they dead? Or
Do you see that some of them are moving? They're trying to look at you, but it looks like they almost gave up on life. Everyone roll perception.
+5.
That's not
16?
bad. That's 14 plus 3, so 17.
You all would notice that each and every single one of them, they're not necessarily looking at the group, but all their heads, they're all just trying to move gentle jumps as it's trying to look at the sole tiefling in the group. And with that, that is the coming storm. And to everyone, have a good night.